Why wait till 9:30 when you can just go live at 9:28? Welcome back to my channel and yours. Indeed, this is Mike Shriver Ministries right here on YouTube, the channel where I am privileged, nay, honored to have the best group that a man could bring the news to and, more importantly, share the word of God with. After all, not to be a negative Nancy, we're dead already. It's a matter of time and how, and whether or not we make it to heaven or not. That's what matters. Okay, guys, we got the news for you tonight, but we got a question from Crazy Old Soldier, my dear old friend. I feel like I've known you forever and a day. Mike, I have a question when you get back. Okay, go ahead and pop that question while we get up the first video. Okay, here we go, folks. Punch it, Chewy. Roar. Chewy, punch it.
Federal case out of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Massachusetts is reigniting the debate over election
Hey,
integrity.
Patty Jenkins.
Lena Maria
Oh,
Orozco
election integrity.
Hernandez
Can anybody
is
say
now
the
a
left?
convicted felon after being found guilty of using
Lack
a
of
stolen
integrity.
identity to vote in the 2024
Heaven
U.S. election.
forbid.
Let's bring in Jonathan Turley, constitutional
Are you
law
surprised?
professor and Fox News contributor. So, Professor, it's good to have you with us today. Not only did she vote in the election, but she lived illegally in Boston for more than 2 decades on a stolen identity, received more than $400,000
Wow.
in stolen benefits. The U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts, Leah Foley, said it's a slap in the face.
Permission
to
granted.
all those who come into this country legally and
You
abide
help
by
me,
our laws.
I help
the
you.
air of entitlement
It's only
is
fair.
astounding. What do you say, Professor?
And thank
Well,
you
John,
for
this
asking,
is
though. I think
one
that was very kind of
example
you.
The cost of this type of fraud and the interrelationship between illegal immigration, fraud, including voting fraud, that we're facing around the country. I mean, this
Save
is
America
one
Act.
individual who came close to about 500,000, $500,000 in fraud, as well as the voting violation. And she did that by getting false identities, using those cards to get even more identification, and it sort of took off from there. But it's really breathtaking when you look at just these individual cases with almost $500,000 of fraud for one person. And you get a glimpse as to why we are looking at billions of dollars that have been burned through in this country. We're becoming a nation of chumps. That is, we have to deal with the interrelationship of election fraud, financial fraud that is connected.
How do you guys feel? We're becoming a nation of chumps. He's not wrong. Election integrity is just, it's so important, and yet it's so delicate right now. We need the Save America Act, or we're going to get 4 more years of liberalism. And I'll tell you what, they'll take this channel down in a heartbeat because I can't stand them. I don't hate them, but I definitely don't agree with their politics. I got friends that are libs, but see, I can handle that. You know, I can be cool and calm about their politics, still treat them with dignity.
To unlawful immigration.
Although I don't like their
Right.
politics.
And President Trump says this is one reason why we need the SAVE Act, where people have to have a legitimate ID. This woman did have an ID. It was a stolen ID. But the president is saying that we need the SAVE Act, which is sort of stalled in Congress right now. Chuck Schumer calls that Jim Crow 2.0, but he seems to be on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue. Listen to how he gets caught here in an interview with a friendly network. Listen to this.
A new Pew Research poll that 95% of Republicans, but also 71% of Democrats like this idea. So why do you not?
It's Jim Crow 2.0, and I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right wing went nuts all over the internet. That's because they know it's true.
All right, so is it Jim Crow 2.0? Black voters, do they favor a photo ID to vote? 75% of them say yes. So even though he's told, look, this isn't Jim Crow 2.0, he says, yes, it is. But clearly it's not.
No, it's absurd.
How do you say this is Jim Crow?
Civil rights movement that faced these face laws that were justifiably denounced on these grounds. This is requiring an identification of vote. Senator
Computer,
Ossoff
screen off.
just held a rally in which he required people to
You're
to
welcome,
show their
crazy old
IDs
soldier.
so they could hear him talk about
Anytime.
policies like his opposition to showing an ID to vote.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain incomprehensive quality to all of this, and I'm afraid that Schumer shows that many in the Democratic Party have jumped the shark on this. They have tried to ratchet up the rhetoric to try to reverse this, but the American people are very clear. They see no reason why you shouldn't have to show an identification to get on a plane and to vote.
Well,
It's
if,
so
as you say,
simple.
Democrats have jumped the shark on this issue. It's not new, because listen to Kamala Harris back in 2021 was asked about her opposition to voter ID.
Because in some people's mind, that means, well, you're going to have to Xerox or photocopy
Oh, God, here we
your
go.
ID to send it in to prove you are who you are. Well, there are a whole lot of people, especially people who live in rural communities, who don't. There's no Kinko's, there's no Office Max near them.
Does anybody want to take a guess at how many different types of fruit was in that salad? That word salad?
I don't even know where to begin.
I mean, I guess it was pretty
the
clear.
reason is because it's so deeply insulting to American citizens. It's why this
Exactly,
is an
Dirty
80-20
South.
issue.
That's what they're
People are hearing that
thinking.
and saying, what on earth are you talking
Loser.
about? But also keep in mind that the SAVE Act allows states to create systems, even for people whose name has changed, for example, the divorce, so that they can vote. But this idea that showing an ID is this insurmountable obstacle for many Democratic voters is just deeply insulting.
Yeah. and we
That's
go
an
back to
understatement.
75% of black voters favor showing ID. So, I mean, for them, it's a 75-25 issue. For a lot of other people, it's an 80-20 issue. For Republicans, it's like 95-5. Professor, as always, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
All right, we'll see you again soon. Sandra?
All right,
All
see ya.
right. Congressman Ilhan Omar's husband had ownership stakes in
Oh,
companies that were
here we
worth
go.
$51,000 in 2023. But in 2024, that number
30
jumped
million.
to as much as $30 million.
Welcome back, Patty
Now,
Jenkins.
other lawmakers want answers. Chief Congressional
Not
Correspondent
just
Chad Berger is on the
lawmakers,
Hill
content
on this
creators
today as
want
Republicans
answers,
try
and
to
our people.
follow the money. Where is it leading them, Chad?
Sandra, good afternoon. The jump appears on the couple's financial disclosure reports. Those reports also give brackets of income. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comey is launching an investigation. He's not leaving it to the Ethics Committee.
The Ethics Committee does not have jurisdiction over a spouse, only a member. So that's why we just asked, we would have questions. I don't think anyone would.
It didn't pertain to her overall finances because that is listed on her financial disclosure report.
Well, we've run this by the Ethics Committee and we think this is the appropriate route.
There's a long history about lawmakers taking office and then raking in cash. There are similar questions about the income of Omar's fellow squad member, Ayanna Pressley. Her income also swelled since coming to office. The Omar investigation is part of the Oversight Committee's probe looking at fraud in Minnesota.
Not like it's difficult to vote. You just got to show your ID. I mean, go down to your Secretary of State and get a driver's license or a state
I think the
ID.
American people are tired of people going to
$10
Congress
for a
and
birth
getting,
certificate, maybe
incredibly
12 now.
wealthy in a short period of time, and they want answers.
Omar contends she did nothing wrong.
Where's Jaded
Omar
at? She'd
says
be
her
so
wealth
proud of
came
me.
from her husband. Democrats tried to pivot from the Omar inquiry to the Epstein files.
Oh, I hate those excuses. Oh, I hate it.
So we should be focused on who raped these underage girls, who committed these crimes, and why we have a rich and powerful
We got
class
6 million copies of it out there.
Pin that on her.
I don't know, but I've been on the Oversight Committee now 10 years. There's a different procedure for House ethics, which we have.
Now, Omar's husband, Tim Minot, saw an increase in income thanks to his consulting business. They also invested in a California wine operation. It's now defunct. Fox is told that their label has not made wine in several years. Sandra?
Okay. Chad Berger reporting on the Hill.
That's great.
Thank you.
Well, what is it? The one dude, the young man, what's his name? Talked about getting him on my channel the other day, but I doubt him. Well, I shouldn't doubt, though. That's called lack of faith. And what is faith, guys? Do you remember? Or what is fear? fear is faith in the enemy. But he goes around Minnesota, right? And he's like, okay, are you guys legit? Oh, wait a minute. Here's this address. Oh, wait a minute. This business is supposed to be here as of this year. Why is it not? The fraud is through the roof. It's in Ohio. It's in all 50 states. They say it's 19 billion in Minnesota. Why don't you multiply that by 49? I'm sure we could find it in every state in the union. Get rid of it. Fire them. Send them back to their countries. We'll give them the Lord. Absolutely. That's why we have missionaries. They don't need to come here and enact change in our country. They need to go back home, be patriots to their own nations and not traitors, and enact change in their own countries and leave us alone. You don't have a nation without borders. In Christianity, if you're not doing your best to live by the New Testament, and there's nothing wrong with the Old Testament, man just couldn't live by it. The law. So there's borders everywhere with everything in existence, including nations. God doesn't want us to go outside of certain borders in Christianity, right? Right? You got borders in Christianity. You know, don't go out and become a crack prostitute. I was going to say the WH word, right? God doesn't want you to do that because he knows you're capable of so much more. So you got boundaries and borders within Christianity, and even the Buddhists and the bald Krishnas or Hare Krishnas, whatever they're called, they probably have their own borders. Yeah, the Bible defends borders. Israel went to war for borders. Not to mention giant grapes when Joshua and Caleb were spying out the land. Fat old grapes. Grapes the size of watermelons.
I don't need permission from Donald Trump or the federal government to do what I know is important to protect the people of my state.
He's such a
The
traitor.
gloves are off in New York as Governor
Somebody
Hochul
get her
doubles down
arrested.
on the state's sanctuary policies. The panel here to talk about that.
All right, they're ready to go. And we are now less than 6 hours until that deadline for the Guthrie family to meet ransom demands. We are live in Tucson next.
Yeah, that's right. No cussing in here. I'll kick you out as fast as you got in here. No problems with no hesitations. This is actually a Christian group, but I'm glad you're all here, atheist or not. Just be respectful. Be respectful.
Jobs report out today. The U.S. adding 130,000 jobs in January, and the unemployment rate, that headline number, dropped down to
exactly, Patty.
4.3%.
Yeah.
Joining us now is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Mr. Secretary, welcome to you. Obviously, it's a good day for the Trump administration. Is this another boost for the Trump economic agenda?
Sandra, John, good to be with you. And look, this is what we've been setting the table for all of 2025. I've said that repeatedly.
Exactly, Billy.
We've put the necessary ingredients,
that's a good point.
Policies into place, and now they're starting to pay off. And what's more impressive here is the number that you just gave is the total jobs. There were more than 170,000 private sector jobs, and there was about a 40,000 decrease in government jobs. So as I've been saying since this administration came into office, we are reprivatizing.
Yeah, they say they're atheists until they're on their deathbed, and then they call on the name of the Lord.
130,000 jobs created in total.
I mean, come on.
172,000 of those in the private sector. 42,000 job loss overall in government. 34,000 at the federal level. There are analyses that say that this is a real sign of growth here. You're shrinking the cost of the federal government while at the same time you're expanding the private sector. So what
smaller
does that
government
in terms of a projection for economic growth this year?
Yeah, well, Bessett's awesome.
I'm not going to go out with specific numbers, but I think we're going to have a very strong number for 2026.
When he was being questioned by Congress, he just tore him up. It was so awesome.
4.1. We'll see where the fourth quarter comes in. But if the fourth quarter comes in around that level, we will have been about 3% for the year. And we are clearly accelerating from there. We've got very large foreign direct investment, and that showed up. We had a big increase in construction jobs, and everyone had been asking me for months, when are the manufacturing jobs going to appear? And I said, well, this is a matter of sequencing. Unlike in the financial markets where the transaction's instantaneous, that when a corporation decides to reshore, when a foreign corporation decides to build a new factory, there's planning, there's permitting, and now we're starting to see the groundbreaking. So first we're going to get the construction jobs. I would expect a continual pickup in construction, and then over the coming months, we will see a pickup in factory jobs.
You know, Mr. Secretary, when I go down my economic sheet here, which I look at every single day, I see a lot of things that are just working. I mean, you have the American stock market at all-time highs, seemingly booming. You've got oil prices down, gas prices down. AAA continues to report that those are dropping for the
gas
consumer.
prices in Lake City, Michigan
Inflation
jumped
has slowed.
23
What area of the
cents
economy
since
do you
Saturday.
worry the most about?
But I'm in a blue state.
Senator, what we're seeing, and my career in Wall Street for 35, 40 years, that what I've always seen is we are seeing now in the stock market a broadening out. The market had been led by some very big tech
Well, God bless you for the $2. Elliot, God bless you, good sir. Appreciate it. Front lines by US vs. them. Front lines by us versus them.
I
okay.
think that finally we are seeing the Wall Street is now telling you that Main Street is going to do better. And look, that's what our focus has been from day one. Wall Street's done better for years, for decades.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Now it's
Why
time
not?
for Main Street to participate also.
Sure.
You know, Mr. Secretary, I'm always intrigued in watching your appearances on Capitol Hill, because to some degree it's kind of like watching a UFC championship as the Democrats try to get under your skin and you get under theirs. Got a couple of examples I just want to pull up here. Let's listen in.
Oh, this is my time. I haven't asked any more questions. I haven't asked you any more questions.
I said it earlier. Listen to this.
Could you speak a little louder? I can't hear you. Immigration.
Mr. Chair, will you let him know that when I asked him
Tom does belong to the gentlewoman from California.
10 and 20
She looks like a Klingon. I think isn't it Professor Nez that calls her a Klingon?
Of working Americans.
It's so funny.
Can you maintain some level of dignity?
You know, you could be forgiven, Mr. Secretary, for thinking that you actually enjoy the sparring.
Look, what I'd like to do is work well with members of Congress, members of the Senate. I had a Senate banking the next day, and Senator Brooks, she didn't vote for my confirmation. We are different parties, but she came out and wanted to talk about areas of cooperation. We both want higher deposit insurance levels to help community banks. We both want to see the crypto legislation, the Clarity Act, get done. So, we don't have to agree, but I would just say, people were saying to me that that group you just showed was unhinged. I'm not sure they were ever hinged.
There's certainly some interesting exchanges there. Mr. Secretary, as far as the housing market is concerned, we just had Director Pulte on with us. There's still a lot of concern with Americans and home affordability and home ownership and the American dream. Back in November, I believe you labeled the housing market in a recession. Your biggest point was that interest rates need to come down to make home buying more affordable and to open up inventory to other Americans. Where is the housing market today, and what is your hope for the next few months?
President Trump is laser focused on the housing market, and things have gotten better. Last month, we hit a 3-year low in mortgage rates. The Fed, subsequent to, I believe, the appearance you were talking about, it was lowered rates twice. The 10-year yield is down. And importantly, as maybe Director Pulte mentioned, the spread between the Treasury bond and the mortgage rate has compressed. So that is helpful. We saw the affordability or the amount of income needed to buy the average house come down about 4%. And nationally, we're seeing rents come down. Now, the American dream is home ownership, but also the affordability is getting rental prices down so that people can save for a down payment.
Right. Mr. Secretary, I want to ask you about Iran because the Treasury Department has been very involved in the situation going on there with sanctions. Recently, there was a run on one of the Iranian banks. It failed. You've said that the rats are jumping ship. The U.S. is involved in talks, negotiations with Iran now. Iran doesn't want to give up its ballistic missile program.
Randy.
It doesn't want to give up its malign support.
I mean, it helps,
actors.
Unfortunately, that there's a war going on and all that. But
how do you see this working?
To God be the glory.
Is there going to be a negotiated settlement here, or is President Trump going to have to pull the trigger on another Midnight Hammer style operation?
Yeah, I'm not going to get out ahead of Special Envoy Witkoff. Prime Minister Netanyahu is over at the White House today. He and President Trump are having very detailed talks. And as always, President has an open mind. And as he said, he believes that he can get a much better deal from the Iranians now after Operation Midnight Hammer on June 22nd. But it's up to the Iranians. The president and Secretary Hegseth are moving military assets toward Iran, and they're going to have some decisions to make. What I will tell you is that the president last March gave me the order via Treasury to exert maximum pressure on the Iranians, and it worked. Someone asked me over the weekend, do sanctions work? And I can tell you what doesn't work. It was handing the Iranian regime, trying to buy them off with pallets of cash. What the Iranians understand is brute force, whether it's in the financial markets, whether it's on the military field. And at Treasury, we have exercised maximum pressure. We're continuing to do that. And there will be a point, if there is some kind of a change there, we are tracking the Iranian leadership, the money that they're sending around the world. And if we are called upon, we will recover it for the Iranian people.
Got it. As far as politics are concerned, we're in a midterm election year. All of this is going to matter. President Trump seems laser focused, to your point, on the housing market and the economy. I want to finish up with the words of Speaker Mike Johnson on what he says are the economic wins that are right now impacting the Republican Party for the midterms. Listen.
All the good feeling, the more opportunity, liberty, and security that they're experiencing, the better economic conditions, the more job opportunities and increased wages and more money in their pocket and no tax on tips and overtime, less taxes on seniors. We've got to make sure that everybody understands that is because of Republican policies. And that's our challenge, our task as we go forward into this midterm election year.
So considering it is a midterm election year, Mr. Secretary, how would you describe the position the Republican Party is in based on the economy heading toward the midterm election?
Sandra, I couldn't be more excited the position we're going to be in, because I think we are in the acceleration phase of, as I said, setting the table for 25. And now I think 26, 27, 28 can be fantastic. So we're happy to campaign on the economy, but we've got to get the message out. I think we've got to be able to show the American people the president has done tax deals, peace deals, and trade deals. The tax deal, whether it's the full expensing for corporates, for both capital expenditure and factories, I think that's what's
Mike Johnson's awesome. I have a lot of respect for that dude. I kind of was questionable about him at first, but Mike Johnson, I think, has proved his worth to the MAGA movement and the Republican Party.
People in their
You're welcome, Crazy Soldier, and thank you, sir.
The president of John Deere said that he's building 2 new factories, Indiana and North Carolina. The people in those states should know that that's because of the president's tariff policy. And then with the peace deals, I think we could see substantial decreases.
You're out of here. You're dead to this channel, James Kaxler. Get out of my channel.
Ukraine gets solved. That's a lot more.
Some people's
oil
children
that gets unsanctioned by Treasury that can go into the market. And
yeah, he's a good guy. I'll vouch for him.
More than lower energy prices. So I think we're in a great spot.
In fact, I got a call with him tomorrow on the phone at 11 a.m.
Finish up quickly. We had Bill Pulte on earlier on the program, and I read a curious story that you and he were at some schwanky dinner the other night, and there's been a kind of a rivalry going on.
I like this white-haired guy. He cracks me up.
Politico was saying to him at this dinner, "Why the F are you talking to the president about me? F you. I'm going to punch you in your effing face." Now, I will say, there is a rich history.
This is like the WWF.
Treasury secretaries getting involved in feuds with
World Wrestling Federation back in the 80s and 90s.
Much better than Alexander Hamilton did back in 1804. before, but what was that?
Yeah, let's get some pistols and duel like Alexander
John,
Hamilton.
I can tell you that was the
slap him in the face with his
summer,
glove.
And like all good teams, you can have a spat in the locker room, but when you get out on
That's
the
right,
field, you do the
Financial. We
best
love MAGA here too,
for
and
your
President
team,
Donald J. Trump.
and for your fans, and we're both doing the best for the president and the American people.
Is it John
Yeah,
Roberts?
I should tell you what I said to John before we came to air today. I mean, it's...
Yeah, no, you don't want to air that out.
Mr. Treasury Secretary, it was wonderful to have you on the program today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking the time, sir. Hope you'll come back often.
Good to see both of you.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Next
hey,
video.
Did
I actually delete the next video?
Page
Yeah, I did. Hold on, I'll bring it back up. Yeah, Scott Bassett. He's something special, man, for our people. He's pretty cool. Hopefully, he'll stay in when Vance is elected. Keep Scott Bassett right there. All right, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. That's my friend's new channel right there. Standing for the Truth up on screen. The link is above in the chat. We'll put it up again in a minute. But first, we'll go to this video.
Right, then Anthropic CEO can say, hey, it's not me, it's those assholes in Congress that are making me do this, right?
Watch your mouth, dude.
And then the DOD
I guess I can't do nothing about him, can I?
I would say equitable.
Oops.
And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. You are taking a live look at Capitol Hill as we continue to follow the latest headlines there. We are going to bring you a live event now as the Senate Armed Services Committee is now meeting.
Hold on a second, guys. Sorry.
For hearings to examine the posture of U.S. European Command and U.S.
There it
Transportation
is.
Command in review of the fiscal year 2027 defense authorization request. My name is Christy Matino. Thank you so much for being here with us. We're going to head out to that live event. And on the other side is my colleague, Josh Breslow.
Do you agree with that? And I'll let you elaborate if you'd like.
Senator, thank you. You know, in Ukraine today, Russia has well over 500,000 troops. And so should the war in Ukraine end, which we all hope it does, we will have to see the contours of the agreement and then monitor Russian behavior to see what their intentions are. But from a purely military perspective, when 500,000 battle-hardened Russian troops are repositioned to other areas, we'll have to pay attention to that as a potential military threat and be cognizant of what it could pose to the alliance.
Okay. We're delighted to see our European allies
is coming off in the beef between President Trump and Gavin Newsom, with the president
and to do their fair share of their part of the burden sharing. How long do you think it's going to take for our European friends, once they've enacted this 5%, to build the capabilities and force structure needed to actually assume the lead role in the conventional defense of Europe?
Yeah, Chairman, thank you. I agree with you that the agreement that made at the Hague summit to spend 5% of military spending is a tremendous accomplishment, and it shows how seriously the Europeans are taking their own security. Many
well, it's
nations
about
are
time.
pathway,
Instead of paying
with
2% for their security, and we take 90% of it. It's crazy.
Above 5% of GDP. The biggest risk for
yes,
those
sir.
countries is now turning that money into
GLXMZYD.
actual
We will
military
talk to you
capability in
later.
our
We'll see you again.
inventory, and that
I'm
does
live
take
10 to 15 times a week,
base that
so
can deliver on time. So I see that
probably
as the,
more now that
biggest
the war's
risk
going.
to them being able to achieve this on a quick timeline.
Good to have you,
So,
young man.
From my perspective, I think we're looking at different capabilities will show up at different times. It will be a gradual slope that will increase in the pace of European rearmament as the defense industrial base gets healthy. So I think you'll see it start slowly, and then as the industrial base investments take off, they'll be able to rearm quickly. So I would say by the end of this decade, they will have made great progress toward that. They won't be all the way there.
You're
but
welcome.
Certainly by
Thank you for joining
they
us.
will be.
Okay, so by 2030, they will have made great progress, but they won't be there. By 2035, if their commitment continues, they should be able to be in the leadership position on that.
Yes, Senator, I believe that's correct.
Thank you very much. Senator Reid.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, gentlemen. General Reid, you have been quoted as saying that we must start a new program to modernize our strategic airlift, the C-5 and the C-17.
God bless you.
I know you can't disclose details of the forthcoming budget proposals, but are you confident that we'll begin that process of modernization this year?
Senator, thank you for the question. Strategic airlift is one of the most critical capabilities that we provide. It's what we call the immediate force when our nation...
Does anybody else get annoyed when they say, thank you for that question? Because if you're questioning somebody and they don't want to be there, would you want to say, thank you for that question, and you don't even want to even attempt to answer it, but you have to, even if you have to lie? I understand the ethics of it all and the politeness and blah, 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 but come on.
needs to respond to the platform.
Thank you for that question. I don't want to answer.
Not only will it have to be able to do the things of the C-5 and the C-17 today, but we're also going to make sure that we have secure communications, that the platform will have the awareness of the space around it for the crews to be
Absolutely.
aware of
yes.
what's going on
That's
around them.
We should have.
And
I should have thought of that already.
It needs to be as survivable
Absolutely.
as we can create. Thank you.
Thank you. General Grinkovich, one of
and
the
our
unexpected
Congress
beneficiaries of our operations in
especially
Iran
the conservatives
has been Russia. The price of gas has increased dramatically.
I think we need some John Kennedy tonight. What do you think, Angela?
Where their economy was
Let's find some John Kennedy.
After multiple years
Up next
of warfare,
is the 5. I love the 5.
Lifted sanctions on the delivery of their oil with India and other countries. We are now in a position where we must send missiles, particularly Patriot, to the Gulf area to replenish our supplies rather than to provide them to Ukrainians. This all seems to be a situation where Putin is benefiting dramatically. Is that your perception that this has unexpectedly or unintentionally given him a significant increase in staying power?
Senator, a couple of thoughts on this. First, I'm very proud of the role that European Command is playing to support Operation Epic Fury, and our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians have been operating at a high tempo in the Eastern Med and elsewhere, defending Alliance territory and defending our forces and projecting power into U.S. Central Command. As you noted, the price of oil and gas has gone up. We know that Putin does depend on that.
Patty Jenkins, thank you for the $2. Thank you for having the best channel. God bless you.
Leadership of the
I
department
appreciate the kind words. That's awesome.
The president's watching this very closely.
You're a blessing to Larry with Larry O'Connor, and you're a blessing to this channel too. Just by showing up. Anything else is just the goodness of God and the kindness of people.
What I would say on that is we do continue to flow munitions into
and
Ukraine.
Thank you,
get into some
crazy old soldier. You and your new channel, man. I'm proud of you. We're going to talk for a while tomorrow, 11 a.m.
Should we increase our security assistance to Ukraine, given the at least momentary strengthening of Russia's economy and Russia's capabilities?
Senator, I think there are always global trade-offs with the amount of security assistance that we can provide. So ultimately, it's a policy question on what the level of support should be. I am in constant contact with the Ukrainians, though, and they do tell me where they see opportunities. I am validating and
see how long this one is
that they're providing to us and the weapons that they're requesting.
Oh, goodness gracious!
And then providing my recommendations to the department.
Yeah, we're done with this one.
We could provide them to help them exploit.
This one's a long one. We don't want that one right now.
More of that in detail in the classified session.
Thank you, General. General, quickly, I have about 45 seconds. Contested logistics is an issue we've been grappling with for several years. Any quick thoughts about what we can do and what we are doing?
Everything's about logistics. Okay, here we go. I'd rather have this one up on screen anyway. I love the 5. All the cool people watch the 5, and you should too, right here on Mike Shriver Ministries.
And a Fox News alert, the FBI is giving an update at 6 p.m. after a man armed with a rifle rammed his truck into the front doors of a Michigan synagogue.
Who does
he
that?
was fatally shot by a security guard who was injured.
Amen.
Thankfully, no one else inside that synagogue was hurt. And we're getting brand new details on the vehicle that was used. So let's go to Alexis McAdams. She has the latest. Hi, Alexis.
Hi, Dana. Yeah, a crazy situation out there in Dearborn, Michigan that investigators say really
we reported on that today.
We're learning more about the man that they say was driving a truck with a Michigan license plate.
Absolutely.
Sources, right
100% support the war in Iran.
The front door. They went all the way in, drove down the hallway, and now investigators are telling us.
So in case you guys haven't heard yet, it's possible you haven't. In West Bloomfield, Michigan today, in my home state, about 300 miles, maybe 250 miles south of me, some dude got stupid and drove his vehicle into an Israeli temple. What do you call them? Yeah, Israeli temple with a gun. Fortunately, none of the children were hurt except for smoke inhalation damage on the way out. I'm not sure if it's Muslim or transgender yet.
That the vehicle is registered.
No kids were killed or nothing, thank God.
Naturalized U.S.
The shooter was shot dead.
He lives in Dearborn, Michigan. So investigators tell us he drove down the hallway and he was still going until an armed security guard stepped in.
He drove down the hallway and kept going.
Working to find out if they're off-duty police or if this was a private, investigation unit that they had, but they wanted to have extra security because of everything happening in the country. The suspect was taken out. The question is, was he taken out by the armed security guard or was there an explosive device inside? Because the sheriff, Dana, said earlier in a press conference that there was some type of explosion or fire inside of the truck. So we're waiting for the driver to be identified, but the sheriff says it could take some time. Listen.
Welcome in,
through doors
AGB.
With a vehicle. Something ignited in the vehicle. That's a work in progress.
It was smoking.
Caution, clearing the vehicle for IEDs or any explosives.
And police say the suspect crashed through the building and then drove again, as we mentioned.
Look at that. That's crazy, man. He's driving down the hallway.
They were able to get everybody outside because there were school children in there.
Yeah.
So we're working to get more on that. Investigators are also trying to clear the area, and they believe that there were explosive devices, according to one federal source.
Oh, dude, just get out of my chat. Go away. Your mother needs to give you manners. She failed you.
Spoke about this a short time ago. Listen.
I want to send our love to the Michigan Jewish community and all of the people in Detroit.
Send ice to Dearborn and Detroit. Send ice to Dearborn and Detroit.
And I've been briefed, fully briefed, and it's a terrible thing, but it goes on. We're going to be right down to the bottom of it. It's absolutely incredible that things like this happen.
And a short time ago, the synagogue actually put out a statement saying that Temple Israel, which is one of the largest synagogues there, Dana, in Michigan, was the victim of a terrorist gunman who was confronted by security personnel, calling them heroes because, as we've seen all across the country,
I don't mind opinions, but I'm not dealing with opinions tonight.
Like their church, and make it a hard target, and try to put more investigators there because they don't know what's going to happen next. Dana.
Good hit, Crazy. You bait me to him by like a spare second. Good job, bro.
To big developments in Iran. President Trump sounding pretty confident about Operation Epic Fury during a rally in Kentucky.
The threat posed by the terrorist regime in Iran with Operation Epic Fury. And they gave me like 20 names, and I'm like falling asleep. I didn't like any of them.
Falling asleep, I didn't like any.
Fury. I said, I like that name. Let me tell you, we've won. You never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over. We got to finish it, right? We don't want to go back every 2 years. They are pretty much at the end of the line. Doesn't mean we're going to end it immediately, but they've got no Navy. They've got no Air Force.
And Iran's new supreme leader has allegedly released his first statement since taking power. He was not on camera, and he did not read it aloud, but he vowed to continue disrupting the Strait of Hormuz and striking U.S. bases in the region. Meanwhile, President Trump is tapping the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, announcing he will release 172 million barrels. Some Democrats, though, have complaints about that.
Of course, it's Trump. Of course they're going to complain. That's what they do.
Wanted him to do 3 days ago.
Angela Child of God with a $5 super chat. God bless his family. We are building on this channel. Everyone read John 14:29-31. It is so prevalent. Yes, amen. And crazy soldier. Thank you again for the $5 super sticker. Appreciate you.
Created himself.
They decided not to move forward on the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Now they are. They're just literally making this up. And that is what's so terrifying.
That happened. Okay, Jesse, yesterday we said it would be interesting to see if the Ayatollah had some sort of proof of life. Did the statement scratch the itch?
No, it's kind of like Biden. Who's really running the country over in Iran? Nobody knows. We had Petraeus on the show last night. He said we're well on our way to accomplishing our objectives.
His show is live right now. We're probably going to go to that next.
Completely decimated their conventional military, and it's only been a week and a half, and this is going to be a 4 to 6 week operation, as the president said. Phase 2 will probably be attacks on the defense.
Angela 3.33's in the house. Good to see you again, my friend.
Manufacturing facilities, and then maybe
you're also from Larry with Larry O'Connor, the best
Army,
America
militia,
First
police,
pro-Trump YouTube channel.
But yes,
I don't know. I love Trump just as much as Larry, so maybe there's a. But Larry, I got so much more respect. He's awesome.
Do better. And they have.
And he's helped my channel grow.
Uranium somewhere under a mountain,
and he never complains.
Some operators to go clean that out. But Dana, the Strait is a huge test for the president's resolve. And there's only one way out of this.
That's right, Patty.
Through it. I mean, we demolished the Navy, but they have this Mosquito fleet. Small,
Larry
fast
is.
Boats, and these things can harass and clip tankers and cause huge problems in the energy market. And it's a good thing that we have a admiral as leader of CENTCOM, because he knows the waterways better than anybody. So we're going to have to lay waste to these ports, to these mobile missile batteries, to all of these drone hubs along the coastline. And that's not easy. That's going to take a couple weeks to do, but you have to do it. You can't let the Iranians control 20% of the world's oil flow. And a lot of that oil goes to Asia, almost all of it. It goes to our allies, South Korea, Japan, and our enemies, China. If there's any action in the Pacific, war, Taiwan, anything, you got to control the Strait. This is a national security issue now. And if we don't, we lose. We lose face, prestige, power. The president has to see this through now. It's all about the Strait. I have confidence he's going to be able to get it done.
Paul, what can you tell us about Iran trying to activate sleeper cells or even this threat of possible drones off the coast of California?
So think of it in 3 buckets, how we always did doing counterterrorism, right? You have somebody who's deployed from overseas into the country, an asset that is directed by either a foreign terrorist group or a foreign nation, okay, like Iran. Rare for Iran. They haven't traditionally in America had the ability to project that kind of power. They default to nonsensical things like using the cartels to try to get somebody in, et cetera. That is, I'm talking about somebody Iran sort of weaponizes and sends out from Iran. Doesn't mean they can't do it if they put the whole nation behind it. Argentina in the 1990s, 2 Jewish locations, the embassy, the Israeli embassy, and a Jewish
Sister Sierra's in the house.
Well into triple
figures. How you doing,
combined.
Sierra?
Number of dead there. Hezbollah, directed by Iran. Second bucket, real quick, are sympathizers.
I already thought, I knew you were going to say it.
That would be directed by the regime from overseas. That's going to be Hezbollah. That's why the border and how loose the border has been for the last 4 years is such a problem. Why?
If I had a sponsor, which I suppose I should look for one, but I don't really care. Today's Mike Shrive Ministries is brought to you in part by Simply Lemonade. Simple lemonade, approved by Sister Jaded American. Lemon water, but this is without the water. Simply Lemonade.
They're not here as traditional sleeper cells. Iran doesn't have the economy, the trade craft, et cetera, to send a whole bunch of people from Hezbollah. Sit in America until we activate.
I'm a changed man, Sarah. I gave up my Coca-Cola, but I'm keeping my coffee. Speaking of which,
south of America here, and in Venezuela until we took them out. So you have to worry about those guys because they're here making money. 50% of their money traditionally comes from Iran. They just lost that. I actually don't think Hezbollah is going to react because they're on the ropes. They're getting banged up in Lebanon. They've lost their proxy and their overhead in Iran. They're just going to want to survive as a money-making entity. Can I say that for sure? No, of course not. I'm not read into the intel anymore. But the last thing are sympathizers who radicalize. That doesn't mean they can't go overseas and get training, et cetera, et cetera. That's the thing I think we're starting to see develop. We're going to talk about it later in the show. We had this thing in Austin. We had these guys in the upper part of Manhattan. That's the toughest thing. Very hard to stop that kind of stuff. This thing at the synagogue.
There's a 4th bucket we don't have necessarily time to talk about, but the cybersecurity issue as well and those attacks.
Iran's good at that as well, but we're pretty good defensively in that area as well.
Okay. Jessica, your thoughts today?
Well, I guess Jesse took
Here we go. Here comes Jessica. Gotta love her.
Why don't we try to be more reasonable tomorrow, both of us, and see how we get along? And you did great. So now I'm going to try to do great.
Wow, okay.
What do you think?
I feel uncomfortable with that compliment, but go ahead. It's going to go bad now.
He saw great.
Close the break. Jesse wants a redo.
No,
That's funny.
It's quite obvious based upon what happened last night, and you even previewed on the show, you said the Strait of Hormuz is going to be lit up last night, and it was. And one of those tankers was based in New Jersey. And there are our Gulf allies, obviously, are screaming from the rooftops. We weren't prepared for this. We need more help. India is making their own deal with the Iranians to make sure that they can get their oil out. China continues
all the
to
cool
get what
kids
they
drink
need.
Coca-Cola, and you
we're
should
left
too.
Thinking, how are we supposed to address this without putting boots on the ground? And from what I've read, all of these military analysts are saying that we're going to have to send people
I'm
onto
still
the
me.
coastline to be able to secure it. And that is the line in the sand for the American people. When you look at the polling, it has definitely shifted towards more support for the Iranian strikes. I mean, MAGA is sold. The days of there's friction over this, that's over.
exactly
So now
right.
It's 85, 90% support. But when you ask Republicans,
Well,
even
except for
about
maybe
putting
Tucker
American boots on
Carlson.
the ground in the Middle East again, they're
Tucker
not for it.
Carlson is
Democrats
not a
obviously
massive
even
fan
much
of
less,
this
and
war.
independence. And if that's where we're headed,
No, because I
that's a
substitute my
very dangerous
Coca-Cola
place
with
for us to be,
coffee.
not only from a national security reason, but also a morale
With creamer and sugar.
President Trump's administration's
creamer.
perspective. I also think it's short-sighted to just be talking about this as an oil problem. This is a huge fertilizer problem.
Yeah, you know,
So
that's an
30% of the
excellent
world's fertilizer
question,
comes
Angela
through the Strait of Hormuz.
3.33, or shall I
Prices have
say
already gone up
Angela 333?
77%. There was
Because
an
you had to
Iowa
use the
farmer,
point because somebody
who
already
was being
took it.
interviewed
I
that
remember you
was
telling
watching,
me
and he
that.
said, we were breaking beforehand, right? Farms are going bankrupt. We have been
You can
talking about
email
we
me
want
a
bailout,
six-pack
we're
of
gonna
Coke.
need
Yeah,
more,
sure.
And now we have this. So these are people who were Trump supporters, a lot of them.
Angela,
very
child
well
of
in rural
God.
communities.
She says, Patty,
Has to be
yes, we can't
exceptionally
ban out
careful
the
about
screeching
it. But,
banshee.
you know, ever patriotic and optimistic.
That's
I hope that it
fantastic.
goes
I
well,
love
but
it.
I did not like to see those tankers on fire last night, or that the Ayatollah, you know, maybe it's not him, I don't know, but this idea that we just beheaded the Ayatollah and that's, you know, locked and loaded like a good thing. This next generation is much more of a hardliner, and he has a lot more years to live and a lot to avenge.
Greg Gutfeld, you've got some notes.
I heard the new Ayatollah was in a coma and lost a leg, or as Morning Joe says, sharp as a tack. It's crazy. I'm looking at the price of oil.
I remember that, yeah.
By the barrel, it's going to hit $140. You're seeing a 42% increase in the price of oil. Fertilizer is jumping. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the beginning of the Ukraine-Russian war. How soon I forgot. But that was the war everybody loved, right? All those people who put their flags on their bios, you know, those are the same people now wondering how long this war is going to last in 8 days. The Ukraine war is now into its 5th year, but you've moved on. They haven't. You know, it's amazing how little they cared about the price of gas, the price of fertilizer, inflation, the strain on the military. And you get this, Iran had like almost 30,000 people killed before this happened, people that were standing up to the regime. You know, it's maybe we should have this might matter more, but it's interesting how the emotion has shifted. The Biden White House pulled us into a war that had far less strategic value and importance than Iran. You know, Russia didn't take the lives of Americans. They weren't taking them hostage. They didn't support proxies who did October 7th. And yet every celebrity, you know, Ben Stiller, Sean Penn, some guy named Mark Hamill, you know, they loved Ukraine.
Yeah,
And
Disney butchered Luke Skywalker.
If you questioned it, what were you called?
Wokeism destroys
Putin
everything it touches.
lover.
Go woke,
Believe me,
go
I heard
broke.
about it. Meanwhile, Trump's taken out the most misogynist theocracy around, and where are the feminists? You know, finally, just as you know, I know you guys are being nice, but I don't have to be.
My kids got me.
Nothing Trump has done comes close to what the last administration did to our country. The Democrats installed a feeble puppet, and they knew it, and the world knew it. What did that do?
Yeah, these
to
machines
us?
are
We got 2
nice.
wars because of that. We had Russia and Ukraine, and then we had October 7th, because they knew.
Sure, war is bad, but
we were
Iran is
handicapped,
necessary.
that we'd lost our will and our way. And within our borders, it was even worse. We went through 4 years of a radical subversion of society through
Absolutely.
crime reform, illegal immigration. That also
we care about their
handicapped our
soul,
will,
but we don't
and the
care about
world
their
saw that too.
lifestyle.
They saw us
So
eating
yeah,
ourselves
puke.
alive. That somehow we were beginning to believe that we were the bad guy.
Hey, we had to
saw
repent.
An
So
incredible
do they.
nation transition into a self.
Oh, I caught that transition.
That was in just 4 years when you had a missing president. So when people talk about a forever war now, we were on a forever
exactly
road
crazy
to
old
war
soldier.
for 47
Otherwise, your
years.
sacrifice
You know,
in war was for
every
nothing.
president, Biden
Or
included,
however
kicked the
you
can down
served,
the road.
whatever capacity.
Instead, Trump, he likes to have a clear desk at the end of every day. You tell him, you know, you can't do it. He's going to make sure he can.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube.
Okay.
And catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
I think this is this one. Everyone's out of here. Okay, everybody. I present to you the new Ayatollah of Iran. Yes, indeed. He is a cardboard cutout of a leader. Somebody get me his meal plan. I need to lose weight just like him. I want to be cardboard thin and running my home like he's attempting to run Iran, although he's a piece of cardboard. I need a copy of his meal plan. How does he keep the weight down? Look at that. He's as skinny as a piece of cardboard. How does he do that? Sister Sarah, good night. It's good to see you again. Thanks for coming and saying hello. Yeah, this is not made up. They did this. They brought out a piece of cardboard and said, this is our new Ayatollah Insani, as I call him. This is not a joke. This is real. His own people. No one had seen him like all day. And he's crying, oh, death to America, bomb their bases in the other countries. But, you know, they're our friends, but we're going to bomb them and quite possibly accidentally kill some of their people trying to kill Americans on bases. This is absolutely insane. And so Larry had this up earlier today. And I said to Larry, I tagged him. I said, I need a copy of his meal plan. That Ayatollah's losing weight, and I need to too. He's got good ideas, but he's cardboard. Okay. All right, let's get the Ayatollah Insani out of here off my screen. Nobody wants to see him anyway. In fact, he's probably dead. Okay, so we're going to go. And if he keeps acting like this, there is a Tomahawk missile for him too.
Gel is coming off in the beef between President Trump and Gavin Newsom, with the president taking some brutal jabs at the governor.
Braveheart, good to see you.
Watch this.
We're talking about Gavin Newsom. He admitted he has
gruesome
mental
Newsom.
problems, that he's not a smart person. He's unable to read a speech. He can't read. Nothing's wrong with it. But I don't want the president of the United States to have a cognitive
crazy soldier, are you all right? Are you being serious?
I think he just lost the Democrat nomination. What do I know?
Oh, yeah,
But
gruesome
you know what?
Newsom's out there,
I'm
man.
for
He's way out there.
everybody, But, you know, when it comes to president, you got to be sharp. You got to be sharp as hell.
As attack.
And he didn't
right,
stop
Joe?
there. The president took another shot at Newsom on Truth Social, saying in a post, on top of being a cognitive mess, that, quote, black people are angry because he is obviously a racist. Newsom firing back with a tweet of his own, writing, quote, I spoke about
I
my
don't think he's
dyslexia.
alive either.
I know that's hard.
I mean,
for
not
a
Newsom, but
brain-dead
the
moron
Iranian
who
leader.
bombs children and protects pedophiles to understand. So it's getting ugly. Newsom, of course, dines out on his hair. His mental acuity has been questioned. So maybe I'll come to you, Jesse.
I saw that coming. Even I saw that coming.
What do you think? Seriously, is this sort of
Jesse Waters is my favorite. I love Jesse Waters.
Well, it's like when you want to get out ahead of something, you put it out there, you can kind of control it because it will leak that he had terrible grades and he was a horrible student. I just read his book. He was a horrible student. He had a real hard time with reading comprehension, with just basically reading, and he got terrible grades. But he overcame it. And that's kind of what's endearing about this book, is that the guy's lived a painful life, but he's a good storyteller because he's Irish, and talks about how, he gets out of college, he gets a little seed money from some family friends.
Angela's got jokes. I love it.
Runs a nice little wine and restaurant business, and then gets tapped by Willie to be on the board of supervisors, then runs for it, gets elected, and rises up through the machine politics in California to become governor. But besides gay marriage, he mentions nothing he's done for the people. I mean, there is nothing that he has done for the people of California besides gay marriage. You'd think he would have put something
Angela,
in the book
that's
to
funny.
make people's lives better. So this is like, you open this thing, he's telegenic, he's personable, fine, have it. But this guy is
and Jesse is aging well. He looks the same as when I first started watching him in like 2019.
He's not as dumb as Biden, but he's just as incompetent.
When he was on the 5 all the time.
You think he wrote it?
I think he's all the time on the 5 now,
really
too.
well written, so no.
That's a no.
Jesse cracks me up, man.
No. I mean, we're still talking about when he was doing his book tour session with the mayor of Atlanta, Andre Dickens, who's also spoken about this. He was talking about his dyslexia. The crowd wasn't black either. People in the room, people who live in Georgia have confirmed it was a majority white crowd. He's not a racist. I don't think Donald Trump wants to be in a fight over who is more racist. I think all this stuff is beneath the office.
Trump,
I get it.
Okay, I got to stop her because she's going to drive us all crazy with her voice. Trump, I think, is the one president that has gotten more of the minority vote than any president in U.S. history. Trump did that. President Donald J. Trump. You want to say President Donald J. Trump when you're talking to liberals because that drives them crazy because now you're adding his title and he beat, word salad. Which, I mean, how difficult could that be?
People see an appeal in Donald Trump that I have yet to discover myself. But I don't like it. I don't like the name calling at this level. I know it's just holding a mirror up to him.
The hypocrisy out of her mouth is just beyond belief.
From the Kentucky rally, though, where Trump was dishing all that vitriol on Gavin Newsom, he was in a state that has a Democratic governor, Andy Beshear, who has the highest
I know she is.
rating
She's totally
of any
lying.
Democratic governor at 65%.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Republicans love him. He's brought tons of investment into the state. He's worked with Donald Trump where he needs to. Like, all of our iPhone screens are now produced in Kentucky. That was a deal that was brokered through the Trump administration. They opened this huge factory, et cetera. It's interesting to me that Trump is not picking on the guy it would make sense to pick on because he's at home in his state, but he's playing the TV wars with Gavin Newsom instead, and I expect Beshear will be running for president too.
So one of the things Newsom's doing, obviously, is he's using the pulpit he has now, Dana, to start campaigning.
You wish your face looked as good as Trump's. You're out of here. See ya.
The image of California. When I was a kid, everybody wanted to move to California.
People's children.
Shows were there.
And Crazy Soldier beat me again. You're getting good at this, my friend. I'm proud of you.
Great songs about California were written at a different time.
I wish that all could be California girls.
Right? It's more like
Van Halen, 1984.
Dreaming. That's what people are.
I know. I'm a preacher, but I also am a man and grew up in the 80s.
And the used to be's. I think that what Gavin Newsom wants more than anything
Young man.
is for Donald Trump to keep talking
They
about
gave me a copyright yesterday about that, and I had to delete it out of my live stream. Otherwise, I would have got a strike.
Imagine being Pete Buttigieg, and you're like, well, I want to run for president too. What do I have to do in order to get a little bit of a Trump love? Because every time Donald Trump talks about Gavin Newsom,
computer screen
it helps
off.
Gavin Newsom, and he knows it.
Yeah, that's true. You have two sort of alpha males going at each other. Greg, take us home. What do you got?
Well, here's the thing, guys. Negative publicity is still publicity. Someone can run you down like an SUV out of control, and the liberals blame it for killing people and not the person. You can run somebody down and still be giving them publicity that could help them.
Reminds me of me and you. Trump was called a pedo protector.
ICE needs to go to Dearborn and Detroit.
I mean, talk
Absolutely.
about.
I don't know why they didn't go to Dearborn already.
A kettle. That was my dyslexic answer. Yes. All right. Literally, to quote Emily Campagno, Gavin Newsom protects pedophiles. Let's go to the Gregory Lee Vogel song, who kidnapped 5
Sounds like
children
Muhammad,
as young as
the
3,
pedophile prophet, the
sentenced to
pedoprophet,
355
as Pastor
years
Kreitz calls him.
to life, 23 counts. He's going to be let out on March 18th in California because of a bill signed into law by Gavin. Then we talked about David Allen Funston, who was almost released on February 26th, 16 counts of child rape. We brought it to the attention.
God in heaven.
Right? Gavin Newsom didn't stop this from happening. That guy was going to be back on the street because of, elderly parole. You want to talk about protecting pedophiles? I think that pretty much is literally, again, the standard definition. He also supports, cities not handing over illegal child rapists to the feds for deportation, freeing them so they can attack again. I don't know what you want to call that. California is also #1 in homelessness, poverty, and addiction, taxes, illiteracy. I bet that's killed a lot of kids. You could probably do the math unless you took math in California, where they rank at the bottom.
Well, look at New York City. They're shoveling human poop off of the sidewalks.
For all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
All right, here comes our next one. This is one Jesse Waters prime time in about 10 seconds, maybe 15. I think this is him.
Since last night, 4 tankers have been attacked in the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian regime is being systematically decimated, so economic warfare is their last resort. The Iranians clipping the ships with unmanned drones and small rocket fire, doing small amounts of damage, but just enough to rattle the insurance underwriters and slow down oil flow. A senior White House official tells Axios, quote, the Iranians effing around with the Strait makes Trump more dug in. Oil spiked on the news, and Brent crude closed around $100 a barrel.
We're going to be in very good shape. You see what's happening. They are pretty much at the end of the line. Doesn't mean we're going to end it immediately, but they've got no Navy, they've got no Air Force.
Oh, Patty, wouldn't that be fantastic?
Air traffic, anything. They have no systems of control. We're just riding free range over that country. And now we're going to look very strongly at the Straits.
We reopened the Strait before, in the 80s, during the tanker wars, when
Iraq
was doing battle with Iran. Fortunately, today, we're in good hands. Former CIA Director General Petraeus explains why.
How wonderful that we actually have an admiral in charge of U.S. Central Command instead of soldiers like me or Marines like...
You know what would be fantastic about that, Patty? What if Ted Nugent went there and started jamming Fred Bear? Fred Bear! Oh, I can't sing it. I'll get a copyright claim. I'd love to have it. As soon as they start blowing that 5 a.m. horn, by the way, if you guys were listening, if you guys were part of the channel a few months ago, I preached on the insidiousness of Islam. I got a part 3 of that coming up. And I was teaching that in Dearborn, they have a noise ordinance from 11 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. until 7 a.m. And yet, they're out there blowing their horn to pray to a God that's not even in existence. Breaking the noise ordinance law. Oh, but it's okay because we're going to, put that under freedom of religion, which, who cares about the laws of the land? Romans 13 does.
Some of the others. He knows this strait. He's been through it innumerable times. He knows they were ready for this.
CENTCOM Commander Brad Cooper's already sunk Iran's Navy, but they still have the Mosquito fleet, little speedboats. They're a pest in the Gulf. Some are loaded up with rockets and drones. They haven't yet, but Iran can also mine the strait.
See ya.
Mines can either be anchored to the seabed.
Oh, you got him, Crazy. Good job, buddy. Good job.
And can detonate over 250 pounds of explosives. We've already sank 30 Iranian mine-laying seacraft, but the Iranians have mobile surface-to-ship missile batteries on the coastline. So the United States is going to have to strike Iranian ports and pacify any aggression on the shore. That's going to take a couple of weeks. Right now, the thinking is we can do it without boots on the ground. And while that happens, the U.S. Navy and others could provide convoys for the tankers.
Is it your belief that the volume of ships going through the Strait of Hormuz will be improving immediately from now?
It is my belief that as soon as it is militarily possible, the U.S. Navy, perhaps with an international coalition, will be escorting vessels through.
We're hearing the British Navy might get off the sidelines and help the Americans punch open the strait.
Amen to that too. I gotta say, that's a good point, Randy.
And they get
but
almost all their oil
I
from the
totally
Gulf.
agree with him going there and playing over that horn.
Here's the Energy Secretary.
Do you think
by the end of this month, the U.S. Navy will be escorting some of those ships through the strait?
No, Islam's alive from the pits of hell, and you know it.
Likely the case. But again, I mean, I'll be over at the Pentagon later today. But that is what the military is working on. And yes, a lot of critical materials come out of the Straits of Hormuz.
It's not just oil that flows out of the strait, fertilizer, aluminum. The longer it's closed, the more prices for everything jump. The White House has it under
I was waiting
control.
for that guy to say
Officials tell
something.
Axios
I had a
this,
feeling
no
he
one's
would.
panicking, but it's
But
a concern.
he was kind
He's
at
pulling
first.
out
He was
the
quiet.
stops. There's plenty of oil. It's just getting it on the market. That's the thing. We just announced a release of 172 million barrels of oil from the U.S. Strategic Reserve, and that should help lower prices at the pump.
It's so awful.
Can you give us a timeline on when you're planning to tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, a timeline of when that could happen?
We're going to be doing it very quickly, and then
I knew he would. I just knew it.
The goal is to open the strait, finish the mission, and have gas prices back down to $2 a gallon well before the midterms.
Totally agree,
But the
Connie.
enemy
I
gets
totally
a
agree.
say. Economic terrorism is the regime's last bit of leverage. What's left of their intel branches say controlling the strait gives them power over the global economy, and they're hoping Trump folds. But the president just busted out his economic toolbox. He's backstopping the insurance markets, lifting oil sanctions, invoking the Defense Production Act and the Jones Act, which is going to shave about 10 cents off every gallon of gas.
Unless you're in a blue
Operation
state,
Epic Fury can't be
watch.
considered a success if we don't take
They'll just
full
raise the
control
taxes
of
on
the
gas in
strait.
the blue states.
This is a major test of the president's resolve. It's only been a week and a half, and we've already killed the Ayatollah, his top brass, knocked out their Navy, Air Force, most of their missiles. But we still have a little more work to do dealing with the drones, hitting their defense industrial base and targeting the Army, militia, police, and the Guard. The president said the operation should take 4 to 6 weeks and that we're ahead of schedule. So far, the United States has only suffered 7 casualties. And God bless those brave souls.
Yeah.
But there's no
only
debate
7 is
who's
good
in
for
control.
a war.
Most people say it's already been won. It's just a question of when. When do we stop? We can hit sections of Tehran and other places that, if you do it, it'll be almost impossible for them to rebuild their country. And we don't want that. But we can hit electric, we could take apart.
Yep, and so are you out of here.
And it would take them 25 years to rebuild it.
We don't
Both
want
of
to
you
have
got
to
them.
hit civilian infrastructure because we don't have a beef with the Iranian people. We want the country to be able
That's
to rebuild
exactly
easily
right.
when the war's over and take their country back. But the regime leftovers are launching indiscriminate attacks against Middle Eastern neighborhoods and banks, refineries, even American consulates. Imagine they had a nuclear weapon. It's exactly why we're in this one.
Israel would be flattened.
The president thinks the IRGC are like
Unfortunately,
the Gestapo
if that
and
was the
believes they
case.
haven't been punished enough. In the past hours, they've been using cluster bombs.
Beautiful. We got 607
First
people
responders are
watching,
here
folks.
at a
I
scene
appreciate
in
my
Tel Aviv
moderators. You're the best
where
out
an
there.
Iranian cluster munition exploded after it was launched in the latest ballistic missile barrage. You can see the amount of rubble and debris here. First responders say multiple people are being treated with shrapnel injuries, and there are at least a dozen impact sites.
This regime doesn't care who it kills. It's just
No, it
out
doesn't.
for blood. They're cornered and want to wreak havoc on the neighborhood to fracture the alliance. And Ayatollah Jr., well, his whole family was taken out, so he wants a taste of revenge. We haven't seen him since they
Hey,
crowned him
Country
Supreme
Carpenter,
Leader,
good to
but
see ya.
today,
How you doing
someone
tonight?
allegedly on his behalf smuggled a statement through to Iranian state TV. Listen.
Sanian, I assure everyone that we will not refrain from avenging the blood of your martyrs. The revenge we have in mind does not concern only the martyrdom of the great leader of the revolution. Rather, every member of the nation who is killed by the enemy constitutes a separate case in the file of retribution.
Little Ayatollah has to sound tough so the population doesn't start a revolution. But reports say he's wounded, hiding in a hospital underground. Other reports say
That is their leader right now. The cardboard cutout, folks. I need, like I said, I need a copy of his meal plan because I want to be that skinny too. This isn't a joke, although it seems like it's actually happened. This is your new Ayatollah leader because he couldn't come out and play because apparently he hurt his toe or leg or something. But Yeah, let's just get back to the video.
He's in a coma and might have lost a leg. It's kind of like the Biden situation. You don't really know who's running the country.
That guy right there.
How weak is the regime? Hard to say. Trump's told the Iranian people to stay down. It's too dangerous outside. But when it is time and the smoke clears, to take back your country. A source tells Axios that there are going to be efforts to
see the staple
forces
flowers
inside of Iran and re-energize the
You
population.
can't make this
to
stuff
topple
up in
the
a
regime.
comic book.
But we have no idea if that's possible or what that even looks like or how long that could even take. And the Iranians are still sitting on some uranium they squirreled away after Operation Midnight Hammer. That's too dangerous to leave in their hands.
I'll put
They're
a cloaking
highly
device
motivated
on
to
him,
nuke
crazy
as
old
fast
soldier.
as they can, because it's their only defense. That makes Pickaxe Mountain, Iran's fortified underground facility, a major target. It needs to be secured, and that could require special forces at a later date.
Sunflower
So
or
there's some
Sunflower,
unfinished
I love
business in
America
Iran,
too.
Uranium, Strait, Ayatollah Jr., and more military targets. The commander-in-chief seems patient and resolute.
I'm not proud of our
sensitive to the
governor here in
markets,
Michigan,
and
but,
ready to see
you
the
know,
mission through.
Here I
The
am.
United States cannot let a Chinese terror proxy control oil flow. Now, if we win this war in Iran, we win the war against China. It's that simple.
I know, it's
Click
great,
here
isn't
to
it, Connie?
Subscribe to the Fox News YouTube
You just
page
can't make
to
this
catch our
stuff
hottest
up.
interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't
You
get
won't
it
get it
anywhere else.
Let's go to
New video. Operation Epic Fury. U.S. strikes targeting Iran, a terror regime.
Tuesday. What is today?
The joint
Today's
US
Thursday.
and
This is a
Israeli
little old. Let me
campaign
go find
hitting
something
sites
newer.
including airfields and missile infrastructure around that country. U.S. Central Command says our forces are
12
degrading
minutes ago.
Iran's military capabilities hour by hour, day by day.
Laura Ingraham,
I'm Harris
actually.
Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. Here is President Trump.
I
from
love that
yesterday.
lady. I think she's one of the
They've
best on
lost
Fox.
their Navy. They've lost their Air Force. They have no.
And here we go. New video in about 10 seconds. Punch it, Chewie.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle, as always. Thank you for joining us.
39 minutes to go.
We're following three major stories tonight. Although we may be witnessing a terrorist regime's last desperate moves in Iran, terrorists are once again striking our homeland, all as Democrats continue to block DHS funding. We're going to get the latest news from the Gulf, and we're going to analyze where Iranian attacks have all but stalled.
Ignore
traffic
William
in
Warren,
critical
but keep an
oil
eye on
routes,
him.
sending shockwaves through the global economy.
Let him stay
But first, the FBI
until he
is
says
wrapping
something
up a
stupid and then
press
get rid of
conference
him.
Moments ago, after an armed man drove his truck into a Detroit area synagogue. Police say he drove down the hallway until an armed security guard stepped in. We're still waiting for investigators to explain
That's
what happened
nuts.
next. But we know that there was an exchange of gunfire and the truck itself became engulfed in flames. The suspect is dead. The only one injured was another guard who was hit by the car. And in Virginia, a gunman with ties to ISIS opened fire at
And you're
Old
fired.
Dominion University
Did I get him?
today, killing one instructor.
He shouted,
Oh, Angela beat me.
stated, "Allah Akbar."
I'm getting old.
There were students that were in that room that subdued him and rendered
Wait a
him
minute.
no longer alive.
The
Just say you
suspected
killed him.
shooter, Mohammed Jallow, was
Ah,
convicted
Mohammed.
in 2017. He pled guilty to providing material support to the terror group ISIS, and he was.
That's my
released from
answer. I
prison
wondered
in
who it was.
2024.
It's not a
Fox
trans this
International
time.
correspondent Kevin Corke
It's
is here with
Islam.
all the details. Kevin, I've been digging into the sentencing memorandum.
100%
and
American.
everything in that case, this does not.
I got more
surprise me
flags
one
too,
bit.
actually.
Tell
I'm
us
going
what
to
you
hang a
know.
big one up right over here.
Appointed judge
Whole wall's
altering
going to
what
be a
could have
flag.
been a much longer
Just to
sentence.
spite
We'll talk
people.
more about that, Laura. In the meantime, we continue to await new details from Norfolk, but here's what we know so far. One victim has been killed, 2 others have been injured after a shooting at Old Dominion University. Now, the shooter has also been killed, as you heard there in the soundbite. He's been identified by some as former Virginia National Guardsman, 36-year-old Mohammed Baylor Jola. and he has a troubling past. In fact, the FBI surveillance tracked him to a meeting with a confidential source, Laura, all the way back in April of 2016. And it was at that meeting.
That's my response to you,
Jola
William
said he
Warren.
listened a lot to lectures
President
from
Trump
Anwar
plus MAGA
al-Awlaki,
equals still
and that Jola
winning.
quit his service as an Army National Guard member after listening to those lectures. In fact, according to the feds, it was
Oh,
in this
Hector, yeah,
meeting
we're
with that
going.
confidential source that
I
Jola
left
said
for a
he
while. I
thinks
took a
lot
break.
about conducting an attack. In fact, all the time, similar in nature to the attack.
I
carried
love
out
doing
by
this now. I've
Saddam
fallen in love with
Hussein,
all this.
Who, of course, carried out
Most
that vicious
importantly,
attack
bringing
on
the word
Fort
of
Hood.
God.
Ultimately, in this case, Jola did plead guilty in October of 2016 to attempting to provide that is material support to ISIS. Again, as you pointed out, he was released in 2024. As for today, for a period of time, students and staff were told to seek shelter, remain in place as law enforcement converged on the scene. The attack, of course, bringing to mind the devastation that happened back at Vatak back in 2007. But obviously, this is a much, much smaller scale. Still, no less terrifying for the students and those on campus and in the area. Again, FBI officials confirm that Jola was killed by students in the classroom, in which he apparently started shouting Allahu Akbar. Now,
Admiral Akbar! Somebody find me a snack bar! Kaboom!
They think might be useful as they carry out this ongoing probe. A lot of questions still here tonight that deserve a lot more scrutiny, and perhaps we can give you some
Revelation
answers
chapter
as we
13,
keep
15
digging
through
in, Laura.
18.
Now back to you.
Yeah, Kevin, reports are that he was stabbed by an ROTC cadet.
Oh,
he was actually stabbed.
Wow,
by
that's
him and
awesome.
subdued by him. Unbelievable story tonight.
Give that kid a
Kevin,
promotion
thank you
even
very
before he
much.
goes
Hey,
through
Sean
boot
Hannity
camp.
here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most.
Breaking moments ago, Israel announcing.
Whoops. Oops. That shouldn't have disappeared like that. Okie dokie, artichoke. Here we go right here. Let's do this one, guys. We didn't cover this much today because pretty much as soon as the shooting or the attempted shooting in Michigan happened, I was like watching my screen when it came up. And I hadn't even heard about this next video about what happened in Norfolk, Virginia. So let me punch it up on the big screen. All right, here we go. Punch it, Chewie. Rawr!
The FBI is now holding a news conference on today's deadly shooting at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia. Let's listen.
Today, the FBI responded, along with our federal, state, and local
God
law
is about
enforcement
loving
partners,
each other.
to
But
Old Dominion
Ecclesiastes
University.
chapter 3 says there's a time for peace and a
This is
time
based
for
on
war.
reports of an active shooter. What we know now is there's one deceased victim and 2 at the hospital. We are saddened by this tragedy in our community.
Now, this is Norfolk, Virginia, earlier
The
today.
FBI mourns the loss of life in this abhorrent tragedy and violence. I'd like to acknowledge the students who showed extreme bravery and courage by containing the containing the shooter and stopping further loss of life. The FBI is now the lead investigative agency investigating this as an act of terrorism. The shooter has been identified as Mohammed Baylor Jallow. In 2016, Jallow was arrested and pled guilty for attempting to provide material support to ISIL, now known as ISIS. Jallow was sentenced to prison in October of 2017 and was released from prison in 2024. FBI Norfolk's Joint Terrorism Task Force and our evidence response team responded to the scene and will continue to have a physical presence here at the scene as we process the evidence. Additionally, we are conducting other investigative steps into Jallow and the specifics of the shooting. We have dedicated analytical and tactical support. We are aiding in this investigation throughout the entire time. We will continue to work alongside of our partners and those in the community to find answers. The FBI continues to ask for the public's help in providing any information that could lead us in resolving this investigation, and we remind the public that any detail, no matter how small, could be useful. A collection of those small details may help paint a complete picture. We ask that the public submit their tips to www.fbi.gov/ ODU shooting. Do you have any?
Another person kicked out of my chat. See ya, you're fired.
With still little details that we know about the shooting so far, how are we able to confirm that this?
Hey, I got that one this time. Woohoo!
How it was an act of terrorism?
I love moderating.
can
I
tell
think
you
it's an
that
absolute blast.
We have confirmed reports that prior to him conducting this act of terrorism, he shouted, or stated Allah Akbar.
Admiral
He was
Akbar!
formerly
I need a snack
subject
bar!
of a
Kaboom!
FBI investigation.
Remember
material
Admiral
supporting
Akbar from Star Wars? I guess I'm old school.
Were there explosives in his car?
We have no information about any explosives in his car or anywhere else at this time.
Did he have one weapon?
As far as I know, we only know
Here's
of
my
one
question.
weapon that he had.
Is that shooting at Norfolk, Virginia, directly linked to the attack on the Israeli temple in West Bloomfield, Michigan today? Are they directly connected? I got a feeling they are. They both happened the same day, a couple hours apart. It just, I don't know, it seems like they would be. But maybe not. Maybe it's a totally different situation.
On his person at this time.
What kind of aid was he giving to ISIL 10 years ago?
He wanted to conduct a terrorist attack similar to that in Fort Hood, Texas.
Oh, dear God. I remember that one. That was awful.
Was there any mention of the war with Iran?
None whatsoever.
How was he deceased?
There were students that were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know how else to say it, but they basically
How about
were able to
dead?
terminate the threat.
I mean, really?
He was not shot.
He shot 3 people.
Correct. We have information that he shot 3 people.
The one that went to Virginia Beach for treatment. Was that
Amen, Randy Wagner. Amen. Absolutely.
So I don't have any information at this time about the specific.
That could be very possible, Crazy. They could be lone wolves. I mean,
otherwise,
lately it's been
to really still
transgenders
alive.
that have been doing it.
But
And that's
at this
not
time,
picking
we're
on people.
respecting
I'm
the
not going to
victims, of the
sugarcoat
shooting.
anything.
That
It's the
includes
truth.
Not only the ones that were shot, but all of the people here at ODU, I consider our victims. This is a tragic event.
Most likely it is
ask
coordinated,
that
but
you
in theory it
look
could
at
be
that.
lone
You're all
wolves.
part of our community too. And so I just want to throw that out there too, to give the respect and the time needed to provide that additional information about the victims.
Did you say he was released in 2020?
Admiral Akbar.
What was the Bureau's intelligence level on him since then?
So I don't have any of that information right now. That's because this is an ongoing investigation. After we learned of his name, we confirmed that he was formerly a subject of material support to terrorism investigation and obviously was sentenced for that. But I don't have any information indicating that he was.
So for you just coming in to the channel, 2 things happened today. I'm in the state of Michigan, up near Traverse City area. And in West, was it in Virginia? Norfolk, Virginia, what this story is, we had an ISIS type attack. Apparently, guys yelling Allahu Akbar or Admiral Akbar or find me a snack bar, something. And the shooter's dead. 2 people, I guess, were really injured. And then in West Bloomfield, Michigan, this dude takes his truck and drives it right into the front of the school, right down the main hallway. He's just cruising along in the school. And there was a possibility of an explosive device because it was smoking like crazy in there. No children were hurt. The idiot with a shotgun or something in his truck was shot and killed by a guard in the school, if I remember correctly. And the kids were evacuated. Many of them suffered smoke inhalation damage, being treated at hospitals. All this happened within like a 2-hour period, Michigan and Virginia.
Known or an ongoing problem.
Do you have more specifics on how he was subdued?
Yeah, the brave ROTC members in that room.
Barack Hussein
And if not
Obama,
for them,
as Rush
I'm not
Limbaugh would
sure,
say.
you know, what else he may have done. But that's exactly, they confronted him and they subdued
Yeah, he
him.
did say that, Angela. Yes.
Was no longer able to conduct any further attack.
That was Russell.
Go ahead. Okay, yeah. Since there were ROTC students involved, is there any reason to believe that they were targeted?
Well, I believe that at this time, we have to take all the information that we will receive from the victims. So I don't want to make any like preemptive judgments or anything to this at this
Amen.
time. Exactly.
BRW,
Keep
welcome
mind,
in.
We're going to look at forensic information, anything that he may have had interest specifically for any targets. And because I don't have that yet, I can't confirm that at this time.
How many people were in the classroom?
I don't know the exact number of the people in the classroom.
How long do you suspect this investigation will last?
It's a fair question. It really completely depends. So we obviously are going to dig in, and this is why we need the public support to where he may have been before this, who he may have been in contact with, if he had any other supporters, anybody providing him information. So we have to track every single lead down, and that's is exactly what the FBI will do. Every single lead, we're going to track down the veracity of the information and make sure that we have a full investigation with as much information, again, to ensure that there isn't anyone else that he may have been receiving support from as well.
Do you have any evidence that he was self-funded?
No, I don't have anything at this time.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, we're moving on.
Okay, that was the FBI giving a news conference about this terror-related shooting in Old Dominion in Virginia. Paul,
I guess
what
we're
do you
not
know
moving on.
about this suspect?
Well, we don't, excuse me, we don't know a whole lot other than the fact that we know he was already convicted for material support to
Absolutely,
terrorism, which is, by the way, the
agreed.
top terrorism charge we have in this nation federally. It normally comes with a very big
Didn't see
hit, but I
this. I
think the
need
most salient
Iran to
aspect of
look
it
like
is he's
gossip.
a naturalized citizen. Conviction on a terrorism
Iran is
charge
getting
means you're
flattened, man.
deportable.
It's just-
Why is he still here? And I can't believe that that's not the main question everybody's asking. Naturalized citizen, terrorism conviction. He ends up doing a whole lot less than what he should have done in jail. They get him out, and think about how, I can tell you, material support cases are not easy to make, all right? Made them, and it takes a lot of time and resources. And then to watch a guy that you got locked away where you said, all right, at least we got that guy off the street, he's not gonna hurt anybody. And then they let him out, and then he does this, and he could have been thrown out of the country to begin with, is really astounding. And you know what? They have to do a forensic on what went sideways here, because that's not supposed to happen.
And this could have been a lot worse if it wasn't for these brave heroes, Jessica.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
ROTC for sure. I, like Paul, really wondering about an early release for someone like that, or why they were allowed to remain in the country after being convicted of such a serious crime. This is obvious. We've had two situations already today in a similar vein. This is going to be happening more and more. I wish that the FBI knew more.
Yeah,
when
get
they
him
gave the
out of
press
there. That son of
conference.
gun
I know
needed
that
to go.
they're, people are hungry for whatever information is available. I didn't feel like we got a ton that we didn't already know from
Angela.
just following the news. And
Hey,
hopefully they'll have more
Andrea,
soon, but,
living life
if
smiling,
you
up
know
in the
something, please
house.
say something. They're asking
Good
for
to
the
see you, my
community's
friend.
help
My
with this,
longest,
and
I
it's just an
think,
incredibly sad
YouTube
situation.
friend from back in
And
Nez
Homeland
Nation
shut down
days.
right now by the Democrats, Dana.
I just wrote that down because here's the thing: the Intifada is fully globalized, and I just asked for tomorrow morning on Newsroom. I'm like, can we get the video or a photograph of each of the suspects since Austin, which was I think 13 days ago? And I mean, I just told Greg, I think we all did Highlights magazine. Everyone knows how to connect the dots, and I don't. Maybe they're not sleeper cells per
Connect
se
the
in
dots,
terms of
la la
hey,
la.
here's the bat signal that goes
So you
up.
got
Make sure
you got
go
New
into this, know
York,
they're-
you
can
got
self-activate if you are
Virginia,
radicalized.
and you got
And the
Michigan,
problem
all within
here,
what,
once again,
48
is that
hours
we're
of each
learning
other?
the same lesson over and over again.
Sleeper
And our government
cells, not so
is
sleepy.
just sitting there going, well, we're gonna have to do an investigation.
Randy,
Can't
that's
say
exactly
anything. We have to
right.
do an
He did.
investigation. I would love to see somebody, some police officers.
He was
working
a
together,
nice
maybe
man,
with the Joint
though.
Task Force to say,
But that doesn't
let's be
cut it as
proactive.
president.
Let's go back to our list. Who did we let go?
Yeah,
who
it's
got
been
out
47
of jail?
years.
Who could have been deported, but we didn't?
The Ayatollah
Where are they? Let's just do a
Insani.
quick check. I don't think that should be out of the question. Would that be reasonable?
No, of course not. We used to do that kind of thing. I mean, that's pretty routine. And I go back to what I said. But the other thing is this, since you're asking me.
Who is that
you
guy?
You should have pretty good information coming out of jail. This
I've-
guy guaranteed didn't
I don't
hide
know if
his
I've seen him
continuing
before out here.
radicalization while he was locked up. Nobody flagged that when he got out. You got to look hard at what happened here, because in our current circumstances, this is not going to be the first time.
It feels like an emergency.
And the judges, you got to look at the judges. I mean, what judge let this guy out?
Greg?
Yeah,
a liberal
I'm more
judge.
concerned about, obviously, the amount of Islamophobia this is going to cause across the country. And I think we need to look at that. We need to step aside and look at that. You're right, the judge cut the sentence in half.
We need to send ICE to Dearborn.
This seems to be a reoccurring
I don't know why
thing.
that wouldn't be the
Reductions
first
of
place to go, but
sentences of
Minnesota worked.
crazy, awful people I just mentioned too in California. We also heard naturalized citizen, and I'm starting to think, okay, it's not just illegals anymore. There's something about a rejection of American culture and also a reluctance to stand up for our values and our culture so that people come here, it has no relevance to them. You would look at the teens in 18-year-old men at the Gracie Mansion terror attack. They hated America. And it's like, we're just kind of like, why are we letting these people in if they hate our country so much? Maybe we should have tighter restrictions about naturalizing people who are like, hate us. And you wonder, okay, why doesn't Trump go after these sleeper cells? You mean, rouse them from their beds in front of their families? How do you think the media and the Democrats are going to take that? You saw how they played defense for rapists.
That's an excellent point.
Because they were illegals, they're just going to think of these guys as more brown-skinned
guys.
victims of oppression. Until they do
First,
something.
the breaking news of the morning.
Then,
American
course,
cities on high alert this morning after the FBI warns the state of California is now a target for Iran as it aspires to strike its coast with drones. No
Give me a
specific
second. Sorry
timeline
about
or
that.
targets have been identified, but local officials are still receiving a precautionary alert.
That's next in the queue. My apologies. Let's let Greg finish up because Greg's the bomb. If I ever grow up, I'll be just like Greg. Or maybe not quite like him, but you know what I'm saying.
First, the breaking news of the morning.
Cloak that one and play this one, Mike. It's not that difficult.
Just a gamble, or at least speaking for myself as a Democrat, if Donald Trump is right that he knows where all the sleeper cells are, because he said that when he said Biden let them all in, that is not going to be the case. But we have that shot.
Yeah, you want to listen to it, Jessica?
Yeah, that does sound like the left, doesn't it, Brandon?
Have you been briefed about how many Iran sleeper cells there could be?
No, yeah, we're going to
inside
bring
the
up
US
some
right
Kennedy
now?
too.
I
talked about it earlier. Yeah.
With the stupid open border. We know
Trump,
where most
stupid
of them
open
are.
border.
We've got our eye on all of them, I think. They came in through the open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden.
Sleepy
One of
Joe.
The worst
The
president
Auto
in the
Pen
history of our country.
Administration.
And we've got our eyes on all
With a
of them.
picture of an auto pen in the White House.
So I would advocate for you going and getting them, because in these conditions, this is obviously going to be happening more and more often. The border was Trump's best issue. He is still in positive territory on securing the border, making sure no one gets in here.
Who do you send? And what happens when all of these protesters show up to block you?
I don't. Who do you send? You send FBI agent, whoever the right.
Not ICE.
law
Not ICE.
enforcement-
Can't send ICE.
Are you guys really turning this into some sort of?
No, because we're used to it. We know that when you guys, like you say, get rid of the worst first, but then you didn't
And then
do
you
that.
just pick up everybody. And we're
Because you
like,
guys
"Don't do
let in
that."
everybody.
But not everybody committed a crime.
Jessica, people that cross the border
need a lot.
illegally
A
should be
civil
deported.
infraction
Everybody
and most
knows
in the
that.
asylum system.
Jessica,
Whatever.
most of the country wants them all
I
out.
can't
so
believe
just
you want
get
to
with
fight
the
about
program.
this. Literally take the L on it. They're having to do
Kamala took the L on it, Jessica.
On immigration, you have to redo the way that you do immigration. Mike Johnson's admitted it. We have to do a course
Where
correction.
did they
You have
find
to turn
her?
it back.
No,
You've
the
been
course correction was
overzealous.
electing Donald Trump.
No.
You guys blew open
Sorry,
the border and you lost
where's
big time.
Kristi Noem?
Kristi
And where
Noem
is
is now protecting the shield of America.
Oh, a much better job.
A very powerful counterterrorism tool is the following. That's it. You knock on the door. You say, hey, how you doing? Yeah, and that's it. You don't have to do any more than that. The problem is exactly what Greg identified. You do that kind of thing when things really spark up overseas, you have a pretty good idea of who your local bad guys are. But it will become, in the current age.
Did we show this one about Kennedy the other day?
Let's can lecture us about the process.
Maybe we
when
did,
you
but it was a
caused
good
this
one.
problem to begin with.
Then I will have nothing to say for the rest of the administration.
Hey,
so that's not
don't threaten me with a bad time.
This would be a nice
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.
Angela has requested some Kennedy and not. Let's see. Let's do this one here. Okay, let's go right here.
FBI, Norfolk's Joint Terrorism Task Force.
Yeah, we already heard from you.
And our evidence
Although it
response
was
team.
important, you got to go. See ya. Okay. All righty. Another video coming up here in about 10 seconds. Punch it, Chewie.
Don't you think your hyperbolic statements undermine your credibility?
If I ever grow up, I want to be just like Senator Kennedy.
Quote,
hey, Jake
if
McAtack's
you
back. Good to
Trump's
see you again.
Population purge agenda. No hyperbole there. The nativists will name you, threaten you, and
see you later, Epstein, dude. We don't talk about Epstein in here. There's 6 million files you can go read.
Behind masks.
When I talk about population purge, I'm talking about the fact that they're trying to deport U.S.-born citizens, people born here. They are trying to deport them as well.
You trigger my gag reflex.
So,
thank you.
He's a barrel of monkeys. I love it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kennedy.
Secretary Wolf, thank you for your service.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best in Congress
opinion,
right now.
Do so many, not all.
I like Ted
but
Cruz
so many
too.
of my Democratic colleagues believe
And
in
oh,
open
Josh
borders.
Hawley. I like Josh Hawley. He tears them
Well,
up.
that's a good question.
Get rid of
I
that
think
guy.
it's,
Thank you, crazy
It's a
soldier.
couple of different fronts. One,
Brother
it would
Ken,
be
good to
they
see
don't
ya.
believe in immigration law. They don't like enforcement. They don't like removing of
What else?
individuals. And they believe that there are some.
Well,
that
you're
believe
entitled
that
to your
anyone and everyone
opinion.
should be able to come to the U.S., whether they apply for protections
else?
under U.S. law or not. And then there's some probably that would like to see more voters in the U.S. as well.
Ms. Vaughn, some of my colleagues, for whom I have great respect, believe that the 10th Amendment allows local governments to ignore federal immigration law and implement sanctuary policy. The Supreme Court has ruled that racial quotas represent a pernicious form of racial discrimination. Can local governments ignore that ruling under the 10th Amendment?
Well, the 10th Amendment is about.
Can they
Yes or
answer
no?
my question, please, ma'am.
The 10th Amendment is about commandeering, and so
Can
it's
the
not
10th
really appropriate to this because.
Is the answer yes or no, ma'am?
Could you ask me again? Because I don't understand the relevance to, I'm sorry, I don't, because
Secretary
ICE
Wolf.
is not asking.
You
Secretary
really can't
Wolf,
make
you
this
heard
stuff.
my
You're
question.
welcome, Brother Ken.
Under the guise
Crazy Old
of the
Soldier's
10th
got a
Amendment,
channel now too.
Can
Crazy Soldier, throw
can
your
local
channel up.
governments ignore Supreme Court ruling?
I don't believe they can.
Okay. Women have the right to vote in America by statute.
Yeah, exactly, Jake.
And
If we
by
had more men like
constitutional
him, and
interpretation.
even women like
Under the
him in
guise of the
Congress
10th
that have
Amendment,
that
Can local
gravitas
governments
about them,
just
you know, it'd
ignore
be great.
that and prohibit women from voting?
No.
Okay. Mr. Duke, you worked for President Biden and Vice President Harris, didn't you?
Yes.
And I listened carefully to your testimony today. You expressed, well, you offered the opinion that the One Big Beautiful Bill is terrible in part because it will cause deficits. Is that right?
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that the profligacy of President Biden caused 9% inflation in America?
No.
Okay. Isn't it a fact that if President Biden had discovered life on Mars when he was president, he would have immediately sent it money?
Oh my gosh, I've never heard him say that one.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, I appreciate your newly found fiscal conservatism.
That's funny.
Mr. Beer, you seem to be a very smart guy, and you seem to be a nice enough guy.
Thank you, Senator. You seem smart as well.
Jack.
Don't.
That was the chairman, not me.
Don't you think your hyperbolic statements undermine your credibility?
What hyperbolic statement did I make?
On February the 11th, 2026, you posted on Bluesky, quote, my words, or your words, not mine. The Democrats' video telling service members to ignore illegal orders didn't go far enough. They should have also urged them to refuse unethical orders, whether illegal or not. There are many things deemed legal that are still obviously unethical, and everyone should hold themselves to this higher law. End
At a
quote.
Senate hearing
Did I read that
on the
correctly?
massive fraud scheme
I
in
believe you
Minnesota.
did. Do you disagree with it? You
Senators
think people should do unethical things in their capacity?
On December the 31st of 2025, you posted to
Jaded American.
Wait.
in
Do
front
you,
of,
do you
in
disagree
front of,
with what
let
I
me
said?
finish my question.
I'm
You
sorry.
answered, sir.
Sure.
In front of God and country.
Lemonade.
You said, quote, they, referring to
I
Republicans,
appreciate
think
you
they
looking
can
out for
troll
me.
their way into us accepting ethnic cleansing. End quote. Your,
wait,
your
sorry.
words, not mine. Did I read that
Cloak.
correctly?
That
There
was
we
in
go.
regard to a
Did I
Department of
read that?
Homeland
Did I
Security
read
post
that?
about advocating 100 million deportations. That is what DHS has tweeted from their own account. 100 million deportations
hurts, doesn't
would
it?
be ethnic cleansing. You would be
Truth hurts,
removing
doesn't it?
1/3 of the country. So yes, there
Truth
are
can
people
just
within the
gut you like
Department
a
of
fish.
Homeland
And
Security.
you don't think this is hyperbolic? Give me 30 more seconds.
I think advocating 100 million
I'm having,
deportations
I'm
is
having fun here,
ethnic
Mr. Chairman.
cleansing.
On February
This is great.
5th, you quoted you said the following on Bluesky.
Your time's
Quote,
up.
These are all
Wow.
good, but
Well,
there's no
did the guy
enforcement
say that to
mechanism.
Kennedy?
I'm sorry. Let me try a better one. On March 2nd, you said, quote, if you rule against Trump's population purge agenda, no hyperbole there, the nativists will name you, threaten you,
No
and come
compromise,
after
right,
you.
Crazy-
These
or right,
judges are
Jaded?
much
No
braver than the ICE
compromise.
agents who hide
Lemon
behind
water.
masks while violating the Constitution.
They are
Close
much
quote.
braver. They put their names on their rulings and they stand behind their constitutional rulings. When I talk about population purge, I'm talking about the fact that they're trying to deport U.S.-born citizens, people born here. They are trying to deport them as well. So
What?
it's not a mass deportation agenda. It is also an agenda intended to reduce the population of the United States, including U.S.-born people.
thank
So
you.
these are not
Wait.
hyperbolic statements. I
psychotic.
appreciate you reading
Thank
my account. I appreciate.
Okay, this one's over. Let's move on to Minnesota fraud with Kennedy and a couple other senators like Ted Cruz. And here we go. Punch it, Chewy.
Ted Cruz,
Hit that
John
decloak
Kennedy,
device.
and Katie Britt press witnesses for answers, demanding accountability and
Yeah, I know,
tougher
it's
safeguards
awful.
to
He's
stop it
awful.
from happening again. Here are the
David
three biggest
J.
moments from
Byer.
the hearing. Watch it right here.
GAO has reported that the federal government loses hundreds of billions of dollars each year to fraud and improper payments, much of it in public benefit programs. Is that correct?
Yes, GAO has reported both on estimates of federal government losses due to fraud, as well as estimates of improper payments government-wide.
You may recall the infamous Leering Center, whose blacked out
The Leering
windows and
Center.
childless facilities have
Okay,
become
everybody,
emblematic
I want
of
you
the
to put
public
Leering
programs fraud
Center in the
currently
chat in
plaguing
capital
Minnesota.
letters.
Mr. O'Brien,
Lear.
when investigators encounter fraud this obvious, does it usually represent
Can everybody
just a
say
single
Leering Center?
isolated bad actor or the visible tip of a much larger scheme?
No, it's usually the visible tip of a much, much larger scheme. Fraud has a tendency not to occur in a vacuum.
In that instance, the fraud was so blatant that the owners of the business couldn't be bothered to spell the organization's name correctly on the public signage. Mr. O'Brien, does fraud of that magnitude typically persist because it's difficult to detect or because oversight and enforcement break down?
Welcome to
It
Mike
tends to
Shriver
persist
Ministries
because oversight
Leering
and
Center.
enforcement break
I'm getting
down,
a
and it
T-shirt
tends to
that
spread
says that.
geometrically.
Oh, I should.
The Somali fraud problem in Minnesota is not confined to child
We're
care
going to do
centers.
pre-orders
Federal
on one of those
prosecutors
kind
in
of
Minnesota
T-shirts.
expect that half of the
Mike
more than
Shriver
$18
Ministries
billion
Leering
spent
Center.
since 2018 on 14 different Minnesota welfare programs.
Hey, listen,
may
if we
prove to
can't
be
have
fraudulent.
fun, what's the point?
To put that figure into
We can
perspective,
be dead
the
serious
amount
when
of
we're teaching and
fraud,
preaching the
if
word,
confirmed,
but we also need to learn how to have good,
approach
clean
the
fun.
entire GDP of the nation of Somalia.
Your attitude
Mr.
determines your altitude.
Once funds are laundered and sent
I
overseas
know life's
to
not always
fragile or
easy,
corrupt
but
jurisdictions,
that's how we should try to live
is
by.
there any realistic prospect of recovering them?
No.
Only if they come back and spend them.
In many respects, Minneapolis has become the Mogadishu of the Midwest. As the chairman of the Subcommittee on Federal Courts Oversight, Agency Action and Federal Rights, I'm proud to have held a hearing last week on the issue of fraud within the Minnesota Somali community and beyond. But the problem of fraud doesn't stop there, and neither does our inquiry. Our shared civic culture rests on something uniquely American, a respect for the public commons. It is clear, though, that though Minnesota opens its doors in the early 1990s to a massive number of Somali immigrants, that kindness was not reciprocated.
That's exactly right,
Instead, it was
Jade. Where you
exploited again
hear
and again
about
and
Jesus,
again, and
all
that's
about
simply
Jesus.
unacceptable. Mr. Beer, can any welfare system long survive if large-scale fraud is excused and explained away rather than confronted?
Now, that's a great question.
No.
It would be entirely naive.
Kennedy
to
will be
assume
on
that
here
fraud
soon.
of this magnitude simply stopped at public
I
program
like Ted
fraud.
Cruz. I could listen to him all
I
day.
encourage you to examine the graph behind me. What do you notice about the usage of public programs among Minnesota's Somali immigrant population? 81% of Somali households in Minnesota receive some form of welfare, compared to 21% of non-Somali households.
Wow.
54% of Somali households receive food stamps,
Hey, Freddie, how you
compared
doing?
to 7% of non-Somali households. 73% are enrolled in Medicaid, compared to 18% of non-Somali households. And 27% receive cash assistance, compared to 6% of non-Somali households. My question to the panel, and this is my final question, is importing vast numbers of people from an impoverished nation, putting
Rico
the majority
Suave,
of them on
Cool
public
and Smooth.
welfare
Remember
for
that song?
years and decades at a time.
Sorry, I couldn't help
and
it.
then turning a blind eye while they steal billions of dollars from
Yes.
the taxpayers. Is that
From their
helping
Leering
America
centers.
or hurting America? Each of you has a chance to answer that, Ms. Gambler.
Yes, thank you, Senator. I would just say that your question really speaks to the work that GAO has done. As it relates to
Unacceptable,
leading practices
100%.
for managing fraud risk. We've put out a framework for agencies that can help them better
I'm tired, but
put in place processes
I'm having
and controls
fun with my
upfront
friends.
to prevent fraud risks.
I love
and then
this.
also have policies and practices in place to really
God is
tailor
good.
their anti-fraud activities and
Yep,
anti-fraud
Rico Suave.
approaches.
Look, cool and
I
smooth
believe
laws
in the
is
melting
what that
pot.
means.
I'm an immigrant, but to melt, you need heat. You've got to put heat on people to make sure they obey laws and learn how we do business in the United
Is that
States.
a woman with a guy's voice, or am I behind?
I think if we ignore fraud, we're hurting America, of course.
Okay. Mr. Linderman?
That's not in the U.S. national interest, Senator, and we know that Somalia is a high fraud country. To bring people from that country,
Well,
to
sure,
not
that's all they
integrate
know
into
how
our
to do.
systems is not in the U.S.
And some
national
of them,
Mr. O'Brien?
some of them,
I believe it was
I'm
Milton
sure are
Friedman who said you
decent
can have a welfare
Somalian
state
people.
where you can have open borders, but you can't have both.
Mr. Beer?
We can build a wall around the welfare state.
Oh, God,
and
this
that
guy
would be
again?
a lot
Help us.
better for
Lord, help us.
taxpayers than building a wall and keeping out all these legal immigrants who can come and
Is this
contribute.
helping or hurting America?
Certainly, the welfare state is a problem, but
Mr. Schwartz?
reform it.
It is not unusual for immigrant populations to have
The
a
Schwartz
high
is strong with
degree
him.
of assistance early
Remember
in their,
Spaceballs?
after their arrival, but we are
Yes,
already
Angela,
seeing
you too.
statistics that the net benefit economically of Somali presence in the United States far outweighs the cost.
So your
And
testimony
that
is
chart
this massive
viable.
welfare usage is
Those-
helping America and the fraud is helping America?
Not the fraud. We need to.
Kennedy
we need
is
to
next.
go
I'm
after
looking
the
forward.
fraud, which
He's in about
makes
a
all
minute or two.
inexplicable the Trump administration's decision to take actions that has decimated the U.S.
About 1
Attorney's
minute.
Office in Minnesota. I can't understand it. Can you
Decimated.
understand
So
it?
simple question, is this helping America or hurting
The
America?
Somali presence in the United States is helping
Yeah,
America.
Spaceballs is one of my favorite movies from back in the day.
For the Minnesota
Absolutely.
taxpayers
I admit
who
it.
had
I admit
$9
it.
million stolen from them,
contribution.
sir, the Minnesota taxpayers who had $9 billion stolen from them. It has not helped them and the American taxpayers who are supporting a dependent population who are here for one reason, and that is to vote Democrat and give money to elect Democrats. And if it robs the American taxpayers and endangers our security for our Democrat colleagues, that is a perfectly acceptable trade-off.
Speaking loudly does not make it true.
Your time has
It
expired.
just doesn't.
Your time has expired.
I have to say, I don't know about you, but I'm leering a lot tonight. Huh? Are you leering too? Right here at Mike Shriver Ministries Leering Center.
Fired, Mr. Schwartz.
Professor Schwartz,
Here he is. There's the man.
you're a professor at the University of Minnesota.
Tear him up. Tear him up.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Beautiful state, by the way. Wonderful state.
It's a wonderful
I went to
state.
Bible college in Minnesota.
Some people
My father did too,
In
and
your
my
beautiful
mentor in the
state.
ministry. It's a,
went to your
what do you call that?
state Medicaid
What is that
department
word? It's not leering.
and said, we want some
Oh, it's called
taxpayer
a,
money,
can't think
some
of it.
being state taxpayer money,
Legacy,
some being
legacy.
federal taxpayer money.
My dad went, my mentor went, and
To,
then I went.
feed the
But I
poor.
only went for a year because I was almost paralyzed for life.
And they, and,
God healed
and
me.
These entities that did that got the money. And
Yeah,
then
well-
they stole it.
I mean, like back in the day when Spaceballs came out, it cracked me up. I was like 12 or 11, and I'm just telling you a story from the old days when I was growing up, and we had my birthday party, and me and my buddies rented it on VHS. Anybody remember VHS? Who made Spaceballs? It was, what's his face that made all the funny movies? Hey, you shut up and get out of my chat. Get, go back to your mother and get some manners. Ugh, some people's children. Mel Brooks made Spaceballs. I haven't watched it in probably, what am I, 51 now? Isn't that crazy? I got to actually think about that for a minute. That means I have leered nothing about myself, apparently. Yeah, I haven't watched it in probably 30 years.
But to help cover their tracks, well, before I go there, do you think those people should be prosecuted?
I think if there is reason to pursue prosecution, of course they should be prosecuted.
Okay. Do you
Hey,
think
Kose
their
Makes is in the
ethnicity
house.
should matter?
Good to see you, buddy.
The ethnicity of these people
The thieves.
should not matter.
Okay.
Not a bit.
Now, some of these thieves also
Thieves.
went to some restaurants and said, I need a fictitious invoice that you fed 100 people. You're not going to feed 100 people. You're just going to help me steal the money, and I'll kick back some of the money to you. Do you think those restaurant thieves should be prosecuted?
I think if they have committed crimes, they should be prosecuted.
Regardless of their ethnicity?
Regardless of their ethnicity.
Okay. You had some other people in Minnesota who had a different scam. They went to the Medicaid department and said, I need state taxpayer money and federal taxpayer money to provide services to autistic children. And they got the money. And then to maximize the fruits of their theft, they went to well, first, do you think those people who...
Same answer to the question.
Okay. Now, in order to generate more money they could steal, they went to some families and said, do you have children? And some of the families said, yeah, we have kids. And they said, the thieves said, are your children autistic? And they said, well, no. And the thief said, well, would you agree to sign paperwork to say they're autistic if we kick back to you some of the money? Do you think those families should be prosecuted?
Same answer.
Okay. And you don't think their ethnicity should matter?
Not a bit.
Okay. All right, Mr. Is it Hankerson?
Hankinson, yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hankinson. Did I understand you to say that you have studied immigrant communities throughout the United States in terms of fraud levels on social services?
Not specifically, no. I've done visa interviews in many countries, tens of thousands of them, and I've looked at reports about fraud levels.
I misunderstood you. I'm sorry about that. It's been a long day. Mr. Beyer, am I saying your name right?
It's Mr. Beer.
Mr. Beer. I like beer better.
Most people do.
Tell me that, I think I heard you say that some people, some folks who've come to our country and are trying to get status to stay.
Oh,
to
I did,
stay,
didn't I?
have
7
applied to the
a.m.
Department of
Eastern
Health
time.
Of
Yeah.
DHS. And they've paid money, and DHS is doing nothing?
Oh, that's right. Yep, they're
That's
sitting on their applications, not processing them.
That's a pretty bold statement. How many
Okay, here we go.
I'm not saying you're
He's
wrong.
outta here.
I don't know.
Let's get him
How many
out.
people were talking
I got him.
about?
I got him. Did I get him
About
first?
half of the
It's like a
immigrant flow
contest.
right now.
How-
Yeah, I
90
got him.
countries are
How many
affected
people?
by the
How many
State
people?
Department ban.
How many people is that?
Well, it's at least 300,000 abroad and probably twice that when you consider the
you're
people already
saying
in
that,
the
that
U.S.
300,000 folks have gone to DHS to seek some kind of permanent status or semi-permanent status to stay. At least 300,000, and they've paid money to DHS.
683
and DHS
watching. Wow.
has
Kennedy is
has done
popular.
nothing. Is that what-
That's right. Yeah, they're sitting on their applications.
Well,
or
who
they're
at
just
DHS is
putting
doing
them in the
that?
trash.
Who at DHS is doing this?
Oh, it's Joseph Edlow. He's
Who
in
is
charge of it.
Joseph
He
Edlow?
came up with this policy to just.
Who is he?
He's the head of USCIS. Joseph Edlow is the head of USCIS. He came up with this
He's
policy
the DHS?
where he is just.
Slow down a minute, man.
he's
You've
just-
had too much coffee. Is he he's at DHS?
I'm just from New Jersey. So.
I understand. Great state, too. Who does he report to?
Secretary Noem, of course.
Okay. Does Secretary Noem know whether this...
I don't know what Secretary Noem knows, but she's aware of the general tenor of this
Well,
administration.
what's his name?
Joseph Edlow.
Mr. Edlow. Who's his boss?
Secretary Noem.
Oh, okay. And you can document all this?
Exactly.
Oh,
Jaden,
absolutely. They put out a
exactly.
memorandum saying we're not processing these people, and Secretary Rubio's involved as well when it comes to the
Would
State
you send
Department.
me that memo, please?
I will absolutely send that to you.
I went
Yes.
way over. I'm sorry.
It is, isn't it, Jordan?
I
Yeah, a
appreciate
little
that.
bit
Senator
away from the
Kennedy,
war, you
I'm
know.
informed that USCIS is slowing adjudication because of the huge backlog and the lack of vetting of these migrants.
Yeah, he
during
had
the
to
Biden
go.
Administration is the,
He
is
couldn't
the
lure
reason that people are
manners.
given.
Yeah, I don't know. I just heard Mr. Beer, and I'm going to say he's right or wrong.
Gino's in the
Those
house.
pretty bold allegations that they're taking the money and they're not doing anything, and I just want to know if it's true or not.
Well, they're making sure that these people are vetted, so we don't end up with people like the National Guards woman here in Washington,
Yeah.
D.C. that was killed by an African.
I
admitted
mean, I
under
don't have a
parole.
problem with vetting. I just want to know whether what the witness is saying is true. No,
They're not
disrespect.
adjudicating them. They're not.
When you don't fully vet individuals who are entering the United States, how can that, or how does that ultimately lead to fraud? And how can future administrations make sure that we are fully vetting and that we're actually, crossing every T and dotting every I? And what is the end result of that?
Well, I think the idea of fully vetting is a bit of a myth because if you have, say, an immigrant visa applicant from Germany where they have excellent records, they share them with us, and you have that person's identity and civil documents that are trustworthy, you can be pretty sure that person is who they say they are. If they don't have a record, they don't have a record. If you have an applicant from Somalia or from Mali or somewhere that has much worse records, then you're much less likely to have an accurate result. And in some countries that I've worked, you have people who have marriages that are testified to only by villagers who are illiterate. So they've maybe had a statement printed out for them that they've signed with a thumbprint. That's not really something you can rely on. And then often criminal records are in places like Afghanistan just simply aren't recorded. Everybody in the village knows, but unless you can go there to check, you have no way of knowing.
So how can we better, how can our system be better to prevent fraud in the future, visa fraud in the future?
Well, from my perspective, if in doubt, you don't issue. You want to make sure that you know who it is, that they are who they say they are, and that they don't have a criminal record or any other ineligibility. And if you can't be sure, then you simply just don't issue that person a document.
And Mr. Linderman, do you have anything to add to that?
Thank you, Senator. In my remarks, I emphasize that State Department actually keeps country by country fraud summaries on the encounters that they meet in that country. This is an unclassified document in which you will find for Somalia, Nigeria, name the Mexico, name the country, a collection, a very deep dive into corrupt practices, fraudulent documents, and other information in which American diplomats, consular officers encounter fraud. And this is a valuable tool so that you can actually make some intelligent judgments. Countries in which fraud practices are widespread, when those nationals come to our country, it is only logical to believe that in many cases they may continue those practices. And so I would say this is not a judgment based on race, ethnicity, or whatever. It's based on facts. And consular officers keep very good records, as my colleague Mr. Simonson just mentioned. And when there is doubt, visas should not be issued. But there is a holistic approach that we can do as well. We can turn to a government in which a foreign government in which it basically condones corrupt practices and say, we will hold you responsible for this, foreign government. We will stop adjudicating visas in your country until you clean up your own documents, you clean up your other corrupt practices.
Yeah, demand better. Let me ask real quick, Mr. O'Brien, we've discussed the topic a lot, particularly in the last couple of weeks, about sanctuary cities. And it is my belief that sanctuary city policies are ruining America, and that both we can keep our law enforcement officers safe and we can keep our American citizens safe by cooperation on the state, local, and federal level. And that cooperation, I think, is incredibly important. And I've long thought that we should defund sanctuary cities.
Absolutely.
Obviously, there's a public safety risk, which I have just hit on. But can you discuss how those same policies enable individuals to actually defraud American taxpayers?
Sure. I mean, the whole point of sanctuary cities is essentially for those jurisdictions to exempt themselves from federal immigration laws that they don't like. So they become a major magnet for people who are trying to evade the laws and are trying to commit fraud. And I think one of the things that is perhaps not necessarily digested by the American public is that if you are here illegally, you have to commit fraud in order to accomplish anything in the United States, because you can't work without appropriate documentation. You can't open a bank account. You can't operate a motor vehicle. And so all of these places, in refusing to cooperate with federal law enforcement in order to remove immigration violators, make themselves preferred locations for committing fraud, because they're magnets for people who are trying to evade enforcement by engaging in fraudulent activities.
For more content like this, stay tuned to Congress Clips, and thanks for watching.
All righty, what else do we got going here? Let's see. And yeah, guys, go to that link above. Pastor Benjamin Kreitz of Commerce, Texas, of Heartland Apostolic Church. Give him a subscription. He's a great teacher. Right now, he's sitting at 86 views. He should be at least at 500. He's a big part of our channel. He's been working hard lately. He's a contractor, and some work came his way. So I'll be speaking to him also in the morning, and as well as Crazy Soldier. Crazy Soldier, put your new YouTube channel up in the link. Put a link up there in the chat, buddy. Let's get him a bunch of subscribers too. Okay, on to the next video. Which one is it going to be? We got all kinds to choose from, and I got nothing but time. Let's see here. We want some more Kennedy. Well, we want Kennedy, like, really tearing them up. Let's find a good one here. Actually, wait. Okay, this is a good one right here. I really like Josh Hawley. I think he's fantastic. Yeah, here we go. And this is a nice distraction from the war. Although the war is important, and we preached our heart out today. We leered a lot today in the Word of God. So right now we're just relaxing and chilling out, hanging out and being cool, developing friendships. Right? Because that's part of church growth. It's part of ministry. Oops. I'm so silly. I just went to copy and paste that in the totally wrong spot. 10 seconds till another video. Okay, here we go. Punch it, Chewy. Rawr!
At a Senate Homeland Security hearing,
I love
Senator
Josh
Josh
Hawley.
Hawley and Senator Joni Ernst grilled Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison over fraud that unfolded under his watch.
This is a good one.
The
I think
exchanges
I've
quickly
seen this
turned
already.
tense. Watch the sharp back and forth from both senators right here.
Are you the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, yes or no?
Yes or no?
You know
Jaded, good night. It's always a
Jefferson,
pleasure.
you're in
I'll
my
see
courtroom
y'all
now.
in the
You're under
morning.
oath. So I suggest that you answer my question.
Well,
To the Chief
maybe
Law Enforcement Officer of the
At
state of
noon at
Minnesota,
Larry,
yes or
with
no?
Larry O'Connor.
Let's try another question. Are you familiar with the $9 billion in historic fraud out of your state, including the $250 million in the Feeding Our Future program alone? You familiar with that? Don't turn to the pages in your book to get your potted answers. Are you familiar with it? Yes or no?
Go get him, Josh.
Familiar with Very familiar, aren't you? Because the people who ran the Feeding Our Futures program came to you in your official office in the state
Absolutely,
capitol
Angela.
December 11th, 2021, and asked for your help in getting investigators off their backs. They complained to you for upwards of an hour about state investigators going after them, and they begged you to help them, and you agreed to it, amazingly. And we know you did. That's not because
true.
it's all caught on tape.
Yeah, it is
Every
caught on-
single sentence is caught on tape. Here's what you said. Let's
And
take a look.
obviously you didn't listen
said,
to the
it's not a
tape.
question. You said to them, send me the names of all these folks who are investigating them. You said to them, send me their names. And I'll take that list and I'll call the person over at Education who was investigating them and say, what's going on? Why am I getting these complaints? Then you went on to say, I already have my team working on this. What day should we get together to discuss it again? You made pledge after pledge to them. You said, we've got to make sure this guy who's investigating them stops it. You said, you have my attention. I'm concerned about this. You said, let's go fight these people, meaning the people who are investigating the fraud.
Yeah, he gives
Why'd
you
you do
both
it?
barrels
Why'd you help
blazing.
them?
Are you going to let me answer?
Please, we're all ears.
So first of all, you're cherry picking quotes out of there.
Why did you help
I
them?
thought you were going to let me answer.
Why did you
Are you
help
going to let
them?
me answer?
Why did you help
You
them?
let me answer and I'll answer you.
Tell the truth and I'll
This
let you
guy's a
answer.
I
jerk.
will tell the truth.
Good.
Let's do
That'd
that.
be a
He
nice
needs to
change.
go to
Why
a
not?
Leering
No,
Center
now
and
see-
get manners.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't come here to be insulted. I came here
You
voluntarily.
came here for the truth. Let's
I
have
came
it.
here- I
Why
didn't
did
come
you
here
help
vol- I
them? The
came here
quotes are
voluntarily.
here. They're
No,
in
look.
black and white, and every
Yeah.
member of this audience
And they're
can
cherry-
listen to the
and they're-
recording. It's 54
Both barrels
minutes
blazing
long.
Holly.
It's all in public. You can Google it right now and listen
Right,
to it.
and listen to it
Why'd you
all.
help them?
First of all, I didn't help them.
You did help
No,
them.
I did not. I certainly didn't.
You're saying you didn't do anything for them.
This is
You
fun.
didn't. You didn't.
Well, wait a minute.
I already have my team working on this again. That's not you.
I have
It's a
my
ventriloquist?
team.
It's a ventriloquist.
My team assisted
That's
with
something
the
Kennedy would
information that
say.
led to the prosecution and conviction of these
No,
people.
you didn't. You didn't lift
Yes,
a finger
we
to
did.
prosecute him. No, you did not. You
No,
didn't
because
lift a
it
finger
was
to
a
prosecute
federal
him. You had,
prosecution.
BS. You had
Okay,
whistleblowers
but
come to you as early as
you're
2019.
the one talking BS.
Hey, listen, it's my
You're the
time.
one who doesn't know what you're talking about,
Oh,
sir.
no, sir. You
You're the
now have
one
encountered the truth and you don't
cherry-picking
like it.
quotes.
Why'd you take their
You're the
money?
one- take
Why'd
their
you
money.
take their money?
I didn't.
You took
No, that's a false statement.
$10,000.
No, that's a false statement. That is a false
$10,000
statement.
9 days after the meeting.
False statement.
You took $10,000. Here's what
Untrue.
happened. They went to your office.
That's a
They
false
solicited
statement.
money from
They
you.
did
They
not come to
solicited
my
help
office.
from you.
That's also wrong.
They came to your office.
No,
it
they
was your
didn't.
official office. You
No, they
met with them
didn't.
for 54 minutes.
No, they didn't.
asked you for
He needs
help. You
extra
pledged it to
deodorant.
them, and they talked
He's been
repeatedly
sweating.
about money.
Holly's
In fact, it's all
drilling
they talked
him.
That's
about.
a lie.
Money,
Drill,
money,
baby, drill.
money, money. They
True.
said, we
Untrue.
will put our dollars in the right place. We will support candidates that will fight to protect our interests. You replied, that's right.
Both
They
barrels
said,
blazing.
if you are
That is
securing
not
your
true.
donor base and securing your power base, you can act the way you want. You replied, money is freedom. They said the amount of money circulating, I'm reading the transcript. The amount of money
No, you're
circulating in our community
misreading the
today is powerful, and we haven't realizing it in a meaningful way. And you said, give me the specifics. And 9 days later, you took $10,000
That's a lie.
from people who were then indicted. It's in your reports. Why'd
Sir,
you do it?
Sir,
Was it worth it?
You know what? This is a theatrical performance.
10,000. This is the truth.
It
This
has
is what
nothing to
accountability
do-
looks like, of which you've had none. You helped fraudsters defraud your state and this government of $9 billion, and you got a fat campaign contribution out of it. You ought to be indicted.
True. Well,
that's the truth.
I think we've made the point. Let's keep the tenor
Well,
just
for
a
the
little more
record,
calm.
I'll ask how I
he's
want.
lying,
Paul.
and that's the truth.
Oh no, this is all on the record,
no, sir.
Did you bother
You are-
Did you bother to investigate where the money that you facilitated their fraud for, where it went? Do you know where it went, what it was used for, the fraudulent money? I do, because we just heard testimony about it yesterday.
Because we
the
were
funds
key
went
players in the
hundreds of millions of
investigation.
dollars to terrorist
Yes, we
groups,
do
to
know.
transnational criminal organizations, to the drug trade, to drug trafficking, to child trafficking. And you took $10,000
That's a lie.
and helped them do it. You know, the other thing is,
untrue statement.
whistleblowers came to you as early as 2019. Let's look. As early as 2019, whistleblower. Don't talk over me.
No,
as
no,
early
you're
as
talking over me.
2019, it's my hearing, pal.
Constant
As early
distraction.
as
I'm not your pal.
2019,
Don't call me pal.
whistleblowers came to. Well, I should call you prisoner because you ought to be in jail.
Well, see what you can
In
do about it.
Preach it, brother.
2019, whistleblowers came to you in your office and referred to you fraud allegations from Feeding Our Futures, and you blew them off. Listen, your own state newspaper
That's a lie.
investigated it. The Minnesota Star Tribune, the Partners in Nutrition, brought its concerns to the Attorney General's office in 2018 and in 2019, and you did nothing. You did nothing for years. The only action you
Randy,
took is
you couldn't
once
be
all
more
these fraudsters
correct.
came to
No
your
conscience.
office
It is a
and
false
asked you to get
statement.
involved
The
and
Bible
offered you
says their
money,
conscience
then you
is
got
seared
involved.
like a hot
Then you
iron.
took the money, and then you got involved.
They did not come to my office. You're completely wrong about that.
You met with them
I did
for
not take anybody's
54
money.
minutes, and you took $10,000, and they also gave your family money. They gave your family thousands of dollars in campaign contributions in addition to what they gave
a false
you.
statement.
Let's put the put
This is,
sign
this
back
is
up.
completely untrue.
The New York Post.
Yeah, we know the New York Post.
Minnesota Keith Ellison, AG, accepted campaign donations from individuals linked to the $250 million COVID fraud scheme after they were in your office. The donations came on December 20th.
Sir,
you
this
met
is
with them
not-
on December the 11th, and on January 20th, the FBI knocked over their headquarters.
No.
That's the sequence of events here.
No, it's not.
You've
the
been
sequence
right
of
at the
events.
center of this fraud
It's not
thing
the
from the
sequence of
beginning,
events.
and
It's
you've
untrue.
enabled it. And sir,
The false
you
statement-
should resign.
And sir, you should resign. I was thinking the same thing about you.
Should resign.
You,
Thank you,
I was
Mr.
thinking
Chairman.
the exact same thing about you.
I'm sure after encountering
Yeah,
this
yeah.
truth, you are, because
No,
it hurts to
because
have accountability, doesn't
Because
it?
after this parade
It
of
hurts to have
lies and
accountability.
presentation,
Time has
I think you should be
expired.
ashamed for misrepresentation.
Time has expired. Senator Moreno.
Attorney General Ellison, under your
Yeah,
watch,
she's gonna tear 'em
unfortunately,
up, too.
Minnesota has achieved the largest COVID fraud scheme in American history. Under your watch, those whistleblowers who brought attention to the fraud and waste in your state faced retaliation. Under your watch, billions of tax dollars intended for unemployment insurance, supporting hungry children, just as described, children with autism, providing housing for the most vulnerable, keeping small businesses afloat through COVID, and more were instead, all of those dollars were funneled away into fraudulent schemes. So last month in an interview with CNN, you were asked if your office has done enough to stop the fraud. And you responded, "Of course we've done enough." And this is a quote, "Of course we've done enough. And we're doing more every single day. This is a political matter. This is not a serious thing." Those are your words.
Yeah.
How do I go back to my hardworking brother and my hardworking sister and every other American who's going out there and then sending their taxpayer dollars to Washington, D.C., only to have it squandered away in fraud? How do we respond to them? And how do we recoup those dollars from these programs that Minnesota should have been overseeing?
Senator Ernst, thank you. I really do believe that you're sincerely, earnestly trying to look out for taxpayer dollars. And I'm here to tell you that, of course, we're here to hold people accountable who commit fraud. I've prosecuted and convicted over 300 people since I've been the AG for Medicaid fraud. So I'm with you when you're trying to protect the public dollar. What I was saying in that interview is that rather than coming together on a bipartisan basis to stop fraud, the matter has been turned into a political football, which I bet you probably would agree it shouldn't be. We should come together to protect the public dollar, and it shouldn't be somebody's campaign ad. What we should do is do it together. So what are we doing? First of all, you should know that I can only prosecute crimes that the county attorney gives me or that the governor assigns me. I do not have authority to just prosecute anybody I want.
Yes, and I am over time.
Okay.
Thank you for that. But
Let's
what
talk.
we need,
I'm here to help. I'm here to work with you.
What we need is your governor then to step up to the plate, and any crime that needs to be prosecuted, it needs to be done. The American taxpayer is tired of their dollars being funneled out of their pockets into scammers' pockets.
I think you're right.
Senator Moody.
Thank you.
For more content like this, stay tuned to
Here we got another one, folks. And then I have to go fertilize a field for a farmer, AKA go to the bathroom. Okay, and I'll be right back. So let me get this up on screen. There we go. And there we go. And here you go. More on nailing Mr. Keith Ellison. Hold on a minute. Small technical difficulty. Fixable in about 4 seconds. Here we go. And punch it, Chewy. Rawr.
The committee will now proceed with the
Moderators, you have the bridge number 1.
To subpoena the Department of. I'll recognize Ms. Mace to explain her motion.
Yes, this is to subpoena the immigration records of Ilhan Omar and her alleged brother, husband, and another husband whose names I cannot pronounce. The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform is the principal oversight committee of the U.S. House of Representatives and has broad authority to investigate any manner at any time under House Rule 10. And this particularly, the legislative thing that this would inform would identify reforms regarding immigration fraud and denaturalization processes, potential criminal liability, things that we need to address statutorily and legislatively. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Mr. Garcia to speak on the Mace amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have an amendment to the motion made by Representative Mace.
State your amendment.
At the end of the motion, I'd like to add, pursuant to Clause 2K6 of House Rule 11, the committee shall subpoena all documents and communications from the Department of Defense regarding the military service record of Representative Corey Mills of Florida.
Amen.
All documents, communications, and contracts from the Department of Defense, Department of Justice, of Interior, of Homeland Security, and Department of State related to Representative Corey Mills of Florida. And any business in which he or any relative has a financial or controlling interest, including Pacom Defense, Pacom Solutions International LLC, ALS LLC, and any documents and communications from the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, Ed Martin, in his personal capacity, and the White House regarding any communications around the February 2025 domestic violence incident in Washington, D.C., involving Representative Corey Mills of Florida. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to explain the amendment.
Mr. Garcia amended the Mace motion. Does any other member seek recognition?
I'd like to just comment on the motion.
Go ahead.
And then
go
I
ahead.
can, if I can comment
I'll
on it
recognize Garcia, then Mace. Go ahead.
I just want to just begin by saying, broadly speaking, on the initial motion, Congresswoman Omar is a proud member of this body and an American, and as American as any member of this body. She's a public servant and a fighter for her constituents, and she represents the American dream. And I know I and House Democrats are honored and proud to support her and to serve with her. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has endured horrific attacks her entire time in public office, and we admire her courage. My motion requests documents on Corey Mills, a Republican from Florida. And I just want to note that this is not the best way of handling these types of issues. And we are introducing this only because this is being introduced on Representative Ilhan Omar. And so we are forced to make this motion and this amendment to Nancy Mace's, Representative Mace's, Nancy Mace's motion. And so with that, I conclude.
Gentleman yields back. Now, Chair recognizes Ms. Mace to speak on the Garcia amendment. to her motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I support Representative Garcia's amendment, and you beat me to it. I was going to do this on the House Armed Services Committee, and I'm a little jealous that you beat me to it. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. It is the best sunshine, and if there are individuals, I don't care about party, I don't care about affiliation, this needs to be we need to get to the bottom of it and what's going on. And quite frankly, I don't think someone that allegedly is doing arms deals should be sitting on the Foreign Affairs Committee or the House Armed Services Committee. And if this is what gets to the bottom of what's happening over there, then I support it and I support the amendment, and let's do it.
All right, but you yield back. You yield to me. So I've had several members request information about trying to determine if Ms. Omar was involved in any of the Somali fraud and this and that. The thing that I've told people is the Ethics Committee is set up to do that. That's what the Ethics Committee's sole purpose is to investigate members. So we've got a motion by Mr. Garcia to amend Ms. Mace's motion. Both the amendment and the motion seek this committee to investigate sitting members of Congress. That's not something the Oversight Committee does, but we're a Democratic committee, and I'm not telling anybody in here how to vote. You vote however you want. But that's what the Ethics Committee role is. That's their jurisdiction. And I just wanted to state that. And again, look, I'm for whatever. I'm for transparency. You all vote the way you want. This committee's wired. You're going to vote the way you want anyway. I don't think the ranking member can tell his members how to vote, and I can't tell my members how to vote. I'm just telling you that's what the Ethics Committee's sole purpose in life is. So,
Mr. Chairman,
just stating that.
on a point of order.
Mr. Chairman.
Which one do we want to? Mr. Lynch.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if I believe you're correct in your assessment that that is not something within our jurisdiction. That would mean that motion would be out of order, not subject to a vote, and let's do this anyway, even though it's not within our jurisdiction. That's a jurisdiction of another committee, and we normally and regularly refer matters that are not within our jurisdiction to other committees, and that's how that should be handled, sir. Yeah. That's my thought.
The previous chairman of I'm going to respond to Mr. Lynch's inquiry. The previous chairwoman of the committee from New York, remind me, Maloney. She said the Oversight Committee has jurisdiction over anything and everything. And I kind of tend to believe that. But now the Ethics Committee has primary jurisdiction. There's no question about that. Now, do we have secondary jurisdiction? Possibly, probably, whatever. I'm not.
Mr. Chairman, under Rule 10, we have the ability. We have full oversight of the U.S. House of Representatives.
We can do pretty much what we want in this committee, but I just want to make it very clear so we don't start going down this road, or this committee will just turn into investigating other members, whoever's in control. That's what the Ethics Committee set up to do. I'm not. Look, Ms. Mace,
someone beat their wife and it was covered up, we should find out. If someone married their brother to commit immigration fraud, we should find out. That's what this committee can do.
I understand.
Let's not defame members of Congress. Mr. Chairman, I just want to add to you. I just want to agree, first of all. I think Oversight Democrats, we don't believe either of these motions should be discussed. This is not the place to be going after members in this way. If there's a concern about a member, it should be at the Ethics Committee. But if members on the majority are going to go after members in our caucus, we're going to do the same. And so if the Republican majority wants to remove this amendment or vote this amendment down completely, we would join you on that. But what we're not going to do is allow the attack on one of our members.
And I'm not defending or opposing. I'm just saying that's what the Ethics
This is what we do up here. We just protect each other and protect our own, and nobody ever gets held accountable for anything up here. That's what this whole thing is BS.
It goes to the Ethics Committee.
Chair recognizes. We're going to vote on this. Everybody's going to vote on this. We're going to vote on this because there's been a motion amendment. We're going to vote on the amendment and the motion. I'm just saying that's what the Ethics Committee is supposed to do. Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are a few times that myself and Mr. Lynch agree on things. I think he would admit that, as I have. But on this occasion, I feel he is correct. And while this committee may have the jurisdiction to do all manner of things, I think this is a dangerous
Yeah. So when oh, sorry about that. I've been muted. Yeah. So when it comes to the flags, yeah, I'm back. You can hear me now in about 20 seconds. When it comes to the flags, whenever we're good. Yep. Yep. It takes about 30 seconds. So you should be able to hear me now. Yeah. Okay. I apologize. I didn't realize my mic was up. I had to go to the bathroom, so I figured I might as well put my mic up, right? Okay. So as far as the flags go, right? I'm a patriot. I voted for Trump 3 times. I'll vote for him twice more. I love my country because this nation was founded on the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now, what's his name was in here the other day? Jarrett, what's his name? Well, his brother passed away, so it's actually Stephen that's using Jarrett's account. Jarrett was part of our channel, and he died like 2 months ago, or not even that long ago. And he's like, well, why don't you have more Christian symbols? And I was fine with that question because I know the guy a little bit. And the reason why I don't have a bunch of Christian symbols, I'm not Catholic. I don't go by symbols and everything, but I am a patriot of my country. And if you're Catholic, I'm glad that you're Catholic because, well, I think you need some revelations, but I'm not going to pick on you because you're Catholic. Right? How do you win somebody to the truth if you pick on them? So my flags are part of who I am as an American because the gospel was founded, or the nation was founded on the gospel of Jesus Christ and him crucified. And the freedom of religion, so nobody else panic about religion freedom. But the primary religion of this nation was Christianity. And that is why I have my flags. I like them. And if not for any other reasons, because I chose to hang them up. Okay, so here we go, guys. We got a classic one here. I know a lot of you are probably going to be like, okay, I can't stand both women now. But you got to watch this one. If you missed it the first time, it was fun. Who says politics is boring?
Gentleman from Time's expired. Does any other member seek recognition?
Mr.
Chair
Chairman,
recognizes Ms. Green.
I'd like to
Crockett
know if
and
any of the
MTG
Democrats on
fighting.
this committee are employing Judge Merchan's daughter.
Please tell me what that has to do with Merrick Garland.
Is she a porn star?
Oh, Goldman. That's
Cosmic.
right. He's advising.
Welcome to Mike Shriver Ministries.
He's advising who? What? Do you know what we're here for?
This is going to get.
You know we're here.
This is going to get great.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I
you
think
feel
your
stuck in the
fake
courtroom.
eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Mr. Chairman,
That's beneath
would
even
you
your
please
history.
get
That's
the order
beneath
of your
even
And
committee?
she flips her hair back
Please.
like.
There's a point of order.
We have a point of order. Mr. Lynch, state your point.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to ask the parliamentarian if your conduct here in raising money in connection with this hearing is referable to the Ethics Committee within this hearing. Is a motion in order to refer your conduct and your abuse of
It's not a point of order. Not a
Mr.
point
I
of
do
order.
have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Green's words.
Oh yeah, that's
That
how
is
it started.
absolutely unacceptable. How
Unacceptable.
dare you
Meeting will
attack the
suspend.
physical
Meeting will
appearance of another
suspend.
person?
Are your
Move
feelings hurt?
her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even
Okay.
play.
Okay.
Baby girl.
We're gonna-
Okay. Here comes the ghetto Crockett. Okay. Here we go.
We are going to move, and we're going to take your words down.
I
Thank you very
second that motion.
So who will have to pay us?
I can't stand that one dude. What's his
We're
name?
suspending.
The Wascally Wabbit Waskins. That Wascally Wabbit Waskins.
Absolutely.
Yep, cat fight. Eyelashes are worse than cat claws, Jasmine Crockett. Here we go. Here's what I named her. I dubbed her this when I was with Professor Nez. Jasmine Davy Crockett,
No, we're taking her words down.
Queen of the liberal frontier.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I love politics, by the way. Absolutely adore it.
Not today. Yeah. Not today.
I gotta find some place where I can work.
Here's what we're not going to do.
Yeah, I thought I heard AOC's voice in there. And that Wascally Wabbit Waskins. I can't stand Jamie Raskins. I think he's one of the worst people in government history. He is such a hack. Right? Even my cat Lucy here says Wascally Wabbit Waskins is a hack. Cat, you're abusive with that tail. Ugh.
Here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to do a smarmy apology. She has to actually apologize. And that needs to be up to
She has to actually apologize. No, this is fun, bruh. Sometimes we got to relax and have some fun. And this gets good. It's not even done yet. What's he doing? Yeah, if you don't like it in here, go away.
Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh.
Let's go.
Oh, let's go. Both barrels blazing. Yeah, get him out of here. If he doesn't like it, get him out. If he's going to be a jerk, get him out of here. Get the anchor.
Yeah, that's what it is.
He's not going to leer anything in here anyway.
She doesn't want to say sorry to nobody for nothing.
This is 1 year ago, roughly a year ago. Let me get a date for you. This is, 1 year ago, right here. It had 1.4 million views.
I'll ask. Yeah. No.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, Angela. That's a brilliant idea. Let's see here. Okay, what time next week would you guys like to do a members only? And we can have a lot of fun with this. We might even show this one again just so we can have a uninterrupted time with it, you know? And we'll go for hours. I'm fine with that. So sometime next week, Wednesday maybe, or Tuesday. All right, this isn't done yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, we could do it at night, like around this time would be fine. I'll do it twice. I'll do it in the morning and I'll do it at night. That way we can cover all our members.
The committee will reconvene. Miss Green has 4 minutes and 21 seconds. There's a motion. Miss Green, do you wish to strike your words?
I have 4 minutes and 21
That is
seconds.
a beautiful title.
I think
Wild
we have to do
Member
the motion
Wednesdays.
first, and then unless there's another motion, then
We'll call it Mike Shriver Ministries Wild Member Wednesdays. Beautiful.
then you'll be recognized again. But I believe there's another motion coming. So you agree to strike your words?
Yeah. I'll
Okay. Miss Green agrees to strike her words.
I believe she
Chair
should
recognizes
apologize. No. She
Perry.
should
Okay,
apologize.
hold on. Then after Mr. Perry's going to be recognized, then Miss Green
I'm not
still has 4 minutes and
apologizing.
21
Well,
seconds.
then you're not striking your words.
I am
Mr.
not
Perry.
apologizing.
Now let's go. Come on, guys.
Why don't you debate me?
Mr. Chairman,
The minority.
pretty self-evident.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not.
out of order.
You don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike
I'd
the.
like to
I
strike
move to
those
strike the
words
lady's
as well.
words.
I would like to strike
the lady's
as well.
words again.
That's 2 requests to strike. That's 2 requests to strike.
Oh, they cannot take the
There's
word.
another motion to strike her words again. Please
All right,
get
okay,
your members under
here's the
control.
correct.
Shut up,
the correct
Raskins, you
policy.
hack.
Ms. Green, do you agree to unanimous consent to strike your words?
I repeat again for the second time. Yes, I'll strike
right.
my words,
That-
but I'm not
all right.
apologizing.
Without objection. Without
Not
objection.
apologizing.
I reserve the right to
No,
object.
Chairman, I
reserve the right to object.
recognizes Mr.
I
Perry.
reserve the right to object.
Chairman, I move that Mr. Goldman's words and Ms. Ocasio-Cortez's words be stricken.
Okay.
Which words? And you have to do it contemporaneously. Object. The objection must be
Cat
contemporaneous.
fight.
And they
Right
haven't
there,
spoken in
guys.
10 minutes.
Cat fight.
Nobody's spoken in 10 minutes.
Well, that's right. Therefore, defeating your proposal.
You all have. So that's my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Well,
Sounds like
I
cats.
object. It doesn't refer to anything that's on the floor. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez objected immediately and instantaneously, as you're supposed to do.
Nobody
under the rules
takes
and precedents
AOC
of the
serious.
House of
No one
Representatives.
ever will.
Mr. Chairman, point of parliamentary
I hope she
inquiry.
runs for president.
We're going to suspend for a minute, but we'll talk to the parliamentary.
I'm having fun tonight. I'm just letting loose. I love doing this. I don't know how people could even get sick of this. This is wonderful. I'm a social person, though. Maybe that's why I like it so much. And I'm a minister of the gospel, too. So that is my primary focus. This is all secondary. Okay, so this is the same one. Let me get a new one up. I don't know. It just kind of reminded me of cats, Angela, fighting. Look at this here. You know, the brutality of it. I got cats all the time. In fact, they were freezing to death in the family room, but I didn't know they were stuck out there until I went to the bathroom. It's a good thing I had popsicle cats in about an hour. Okay, next video. We can get rid of the kitty cats. Computer time.
It's 12:04 a.m. Schreiber. Perfect time for a magical midnight adventure.
Huh? Not with you. Computer, dismissed home screen. Sometimes she talks too much. Okay, so do I, but still, that's not my point. Oh, here you go. Here's some fun. Pam Bondi getting slammed by Jasmine Crockett. I got no problem with Bondi, not really. I mean, I haven't heard much about her since the war started. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Punch it, Chewy. Roar!
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And to be clear, I'm not going to ask any questions of this witness because this
I'll
witness
decloak.
has revealed that she has no intentions of answering questions. But instead, I'm going to ask some very basic questions.
Aren't
really
you glad
quickly of my
Jasmine Crockett
colleague,
lost?
Becca Balint, if she will answer right or wrong.
You will in a
raping
minute.
Children. Wrong. Right or wrong, killing random citizens. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And to be
Can
clear,
you see
I'm
it
not
now?
going to ask any questions of this witness because this witness has revealed that she
Let me
has
hit
no intentions
refresh.
of answering questions. But instead, I'm going to ask some very basic questions really quickly of my colleague, Becca Balint, if she will answer right or wrong, raping children. Wrong. Right or wrong, killing random citizens. Definitely wrong. Right or wrong, enriching yourself as the sitting president of the United States. Definitely wrong. Okay, thank you, because I probably never would have got that with our witness. Our witness who somehow is a lawyer but does not understand how it works with witnesses. I'm not really sure what law school she went to and what all kind of cases she tried, but typically when you come into a space and somebody's a witness, then they sit there and they answer questions instead of asking questions. And then we also have this objection that we use as lawyers called non-responsive when a witness fails to actually answer the question. But nevertheless, let me address the survivors because that's exactly who they are. They are not victims, they are survivors. Let me say thank you for having more courage and moral clarity in your pinky fingers than the entire Department of Justice. We are currently the laughingstock of the world, partially because of the failed leadership within the DOJ, as we see kings and queens falling everywhere around the world. But we don't know the basics of right and wrong in this country, because it's not about partisanship. And that's why I applaud Thomas Massie, because he's the only person on the Republican side that has a backbone and knows how to stand up to corruption. But nevertheless, let me keep going.
Angela.
My Democratic colleagues have been attacked this entire committee hearing. They have been lied on, and frankly,
Amen.
the
Thank
American
you
people
for
weren't looking
President
for that. They were
Trump.
looking for
Absolutely,
answers
Darla.
about the
He's
corruption
awesome.
that they see coming from this
God
administration.
set him back up.
In the
Daniel
written
chapter
testimony of this
2:21.
witness, of this particular witness, she stated that when she took office, she had two main goals. The first was to end the weaponization of justice, and second, to return the department to its core mission. Not only have you lied about both, you've intentionally done the exact opposite. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting
It's the Jasmine
journalists
Crockett
than you are
wig of the
prosecuting
day.
pedophiles and creeps. In fact, your boss, the President of the United States, stated that this administration, quote, took the freedom of speech away. And at your direction, DOJ has arrested Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. And I might add,
Don Lemon. Remember when you got arrested? That was something else.
a judge that rejected y'all for
Wait, we can
trying
find
to
that
arrest
video.
Don Lemon before, just like the grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Kelly, just like a grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Slotkin, just like the case against Tish James was dismissed and the case against Mr. Comey was dismissed. I completely don't get how it is that you're sitting at the top of DOJ, because you don't seem to be.
Yeah,
getting
you're
your
out of
job.
here, hoser. See
You're
ya.
spending more taxpayer resources arresting these journalists.
Computer
In
screen
fact,
off.
we know after Georgia Fort and Don Lemon were arrested, we know
Computer
that there
screen
were homes
off.
of journalists that were raided. We know that threatened prosecution against students protesting your
off. Okay.
actions and forced tech companies to remove apps used to track ISIS activities. But let's circle back to you protecting pedophiles and creeps, because I want to talk about the president and his possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I don't know what the president might have done with Jeffrey Epstein, but unlike this administration, I believe that facts matter. So let's talk about the facts. Fact number one, Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. Fact number two, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example, according to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. Here's another example. This shows notes from FBI investigators that describe Jeffrey Epstein transporting a victim to Mar-a-Lago to meet with President Trump, where he bragged to Trump that, quote, this is a good one. Now, I'm not saying that the president is a pedophile, but there is a lot of evidence in these files that suggests that he's very close friends with a lot of men who are pedophiles. What's crazy about all of this is just that this is a big cover-up, and this administration is engaged in it. In fact, this administration is complicit. But there are numerous others, like how the DOJ is attempting to obstruct justice in the investigation of the rogue agents who have murdered American citizens, or how the DOJ seized voter data from Fulton County in an attempt to steal the 2026 midterm elections, or how federal agents have Tom Homan on tape accepting a bribe and your agency killed the investigation, or how your agency is ready to give the president a $230 million payday, which is unconstitutional. The Constitution is clear. The president shall not receive any payment except his salary while in office. The fact of the matter is that you will be remembered as one of the worst attorney generals in history. An attorney general who has prioritized obstruction over justice, corruption over the law, fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Gentlelady yields. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized. Excuse me, gentleman from Kansas, the Attorney General, former Attorney General, Mr. Schmidt is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And
I'm so glad
John,
Jasmine
thanks for being
Crockett
here.
lost.
Did you have anything you
She's
wanted to say
done,
before we-
right? Like in January,
Thank you, Congressman.
January, I
Thank
think
you,
it
my
is, or
friend,
whatever.
For many years, I find it interesting that she didn't even want to try.
I agree, Angela.
Congresswoman Crockett, to ask any questions, because she certainly did not condemn her leader, Hakeem Jeffries, for taking money from Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein.
Hakeem, not the dream, Jeffries.
Was convicted. And I will be brief to give you your time, Congressman. This is what she didn't want to talk about. Texas from Cuba convicted, homicide, arson, weapon
I see
offense.
confidence on Pam
Convicted.
Bondi's
So what we
face.
talking about? Convict some of these perpetrators that rape these women that are
Chairman,
sitting
time
behind you
belongs
that you
to the
refuse
gentleman
to even
from
acknowledge
Kansas.
they are here.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Kansas.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a few seconds back
bet,
to make
you
up
bet.
for the
Jasmine
Thank
Crockett,
you.
wig of the
Gentlemen,
week.
do you have anything further
Just
to
like
say?
Joy Reid.
Texas, convicted of homicide. Cecil Joseph from Dominican Republic. Texas, convicted for kidnapping.
Look at him.
Khalid Khan from Afghanistan. That's why they want to talk about Epstein and not what's happening in their own states.
Dime store Obama. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and go to bed. I got to get up in the morning. I mean, obviously I got to get up in the morning. Otherwise I'm dead, right? But something in the morning, and I got some phone. I got to call my sister tomorrow. I'm going to call our friend here. I got to call Darlene, my sister. I got to call Crazy Old Soldier.
Welcome, Attorney General Bondi.
Oh, wait a minute.
You've got
We can
the
do
best
one more.
lawyer's job in America,
We can do
because
one
your
more.
mission
This
is
is the last
justice,
one.
And your clients are the American people.
And you're
But
out
to
of
promote
here.
justice for the people, you've got to listen to the victims, like the women seated behind you today. Those are just some of the hundreds of survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's global sex trafficking ring who are demanding that the truth be told and are demanding
You
accountability
talk like you're ghetto.
for the abusers
Get an education.
who trafficked and raped them. You still haven't met with these survivors. So with their permission, let
You
me
too.
introduce
You
to
go get an
the
education
survivors
and
late
get your mother to
survivors,
give you manners.
Family members who are present today. There's Teresa
I don't
Helm.
mind them. I just get rid
There's
of them.
Jess Michaels, Laura
I mean,
Bloom
I
McGee,
mind them, but
Danny Bensky, Liz Stein, Marina Lacerda, Sky and Amanda Roberts, who are the family of the late Virginia Giuffre, Charlene Richard, and Lisa Phillips.
you know what we're gonna do, guys? Yeah, I am gonna go to bed. We're gonna save that video for next Wednesday or sometime next week when I do a members only, where we're gonna watch these videos, members only. We're gonna break it down, and we're gonna be able to talk without a lot of trolls. Angela, that was a brilliant idea. And so, guys, I appreciate all of you. You mean the world to me, and you're my friends and fellow Christians in the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I will see you tomorrow. And then Saturday morning, hello, kitty cat. Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's East Coast time, Michigan time, Florida time, Georgia time, Northern South Carolina time, the Kentucky's time, I think, at 7 a.m. Eastern. And then again at 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, I will be leading us in prayer for our law enforcement, for our military, for our president, for the families of the ones that passed away in the war. Thank God it's only 7, but 7 is too many. And we're going to pray for the families of the soldiers that are overseas. You know, their kids are overseas. We're going to pray for the families back home. 7 a.m. Eastern. And my cat's just beating me in the face like she loves me. And I'm doing it again at 10 a.m., 3 hours later. And this probably just be a constant prayer meeting for 3 hours. It's not like I haven't done it before. I don't think I have done a 3-hour prayer meeting before, actually. Maybe a 2-hour altar call. Anyway, we're going to pray. Because why? We are one nation under God. And the power of passionate prayer can move mountains. Our soldiers are fighting in the physical. We're going to help them fight spiritually. Whatever affects the physical has a direct impact in the supernatural. A nation that prays together thrives together in Jesus' name, the one true God. Everybody, thank you for being with me all day. I've had fun. My cat needs to go that way. Thank you. And God bless all of you. I will see you probably around, well, with Larry O'Connor. So, God bless you. I'll see you soon. And never, ever forget that Jesus Christ is our great God and Savior.